Welcome everybody to the first part of the year-end basically overview. As with this video, we're going to go over the totality of, WCW and the big stuff as far as awards, top 500, all that good stuff. Before we do that, a couple of quick announcements. First, you'll see the link in the notes that basically I have a bit of a little mini survey for people who watch the channel, just see their views on stuff as far as what's going on in the channel, what they like to see more of within the videos, how they watch the videos, because part of it is just interest. Other part of it is, if people are interested in more stuff, or other stuff, as I'm, creating the videos, that's always good. Obviously, if I'm the only one who, likes things X, then it's no point to me wasting time, doing it on the video. So that'll be a link. Some of it's more, some of it's just like what stuff you like more or less, how do you actually watch the videos, what do you actually watch, so on and so forth. Again, no pressure to actually do it. Just like if you're interested and you actually enjoy things, great. And second thing is, as is tradition, along this will be a post with a link to the year of, the beginning of the year data, and also the link to the sort of bonus like graphics I've made. I'm not quite ready on the all the graphics for the additional wrestlers. So basically, what I would say is, because I also imported a bunch of wrestlers from a couple of other different databases who weren't in this initial database, just, because they weren't around for whatever reason. So I might go ahead and do that, or I might just include my current database, like as far as like my picture database. I'm still undecided what I'm exactly doing with that, so you just have to see as far as that goes. But anyway, getting on, as we go over the year awards, first of all, the winner, your wrestler of the year, is Brock Lesnar. If we look at the award, well, I'll go Brock Lesnar is your wrestler of the year. He's had a fantastic year. He's a top guy, one of the top guys. 51 wins, 10 losses, 93 average rating. Only bad match is a random SmackDown, which I probably booked because I've probably booked it badly. But yeah, outside of that, he just like kicks ass and takes names. He's helped by the AI being the AI, but also he just had an amazing year. So yeah. And if we go to the, let's see here, awards, right? Yeah, so after 2 years of Undertaker winning it and Austin winning it 2 years before that, Lesnar wins his first. So we go to Tag Team of the Year, or Company Year is WWE. They won it for the 9th time. And if I remember correctly, yeah, they have, only company won it is 2002 is Noah. But yeah, this has pretty much just been a completely dominant WWE, which makes sense because, remember, these are more PWI awards than, in a sense, more than like Observer Awards, even though they also are. There's some sort of weird mixture that I never quite get. Anyway, Team of the Year is actually an actual team this round. It's the Los Vipers of Mizo Negro and Electroshock for AAA, which is actually interesting. That just shows you how bad I think our tag team was in a sense, and how the tag team was for in WWF, that there's nobody great. To be fair, these guys were freaking, well, okay, a lot of this is 6-man tag, so I can't quite quit. Okay. So if we do this, okay, so basically this is them as mainly a 6-man tag, it looks like, because they didn't even have that many tag team matches, it looks like. Or I'm just doing bad finding it. But yeah, they've been just dominant CMLL. Them along with Liz Mark Jr. have basically been sort of not Liz Mark Jr. Yeah, them and sort of Los Vipers plus a random other top guy like Dr. Wagner Jr., Negro Casas, Latin Lover, Black Warrior have basically been some of the top guys in the promotion, which is interesting. And yeah, there's the current CMLL World Trios champions with Negro Casas. So that's interesting. And again, if you look at the award history for that, yeah, before that was Kane and Taker 2 years in a row, then Triple H, then Austin and Triple H. So yeah, it's sort of weird because how the game does it. Match of the year was of course a random house match on Raw where Lesnar and Taker defeat Triple H and Jericho because one of WWE's 19 million to hundreds, unfortunately. I was hoping that maybe the Bound of Glory match would get the 100 here, but unfortunately it is what it is. Again, if we go to the annual awards, again, match of the year is always something wacky just because of, yeah. See, there's this random 6-man, this random Austin Rikishi match. You can sort of see when we go from actual matches to the game. But again, not the end of the world there. So show of the year was actually Starrcade. So we were helped by the fact that, we go to our show history, it got a 99 because we actually gave it a little bonus, and I think the main event really helped us. And we had lots of good matches. So kind of, but hey, great show. It was actually a great show. and we're rewarded for it. And oops, that's the wrong thing. Where are we? Yeah, annual awards. So if we go to show of the year, that I think this is the second year of the war row. Yeah, second year in a row we've won it after Armageddon, Backlash, and SummerSlam all winning it before. Again, so Young Wrestler of the Year is Miss Mystico, who I thought, interesting. I don't get how this game does pictures, because I fixed the pictures I thought in the background, but yeah. I mean, he's freaking Mystico. He's, what is he? He is 23. He is stupidly over in Mexico. And yeah, he had a year where he was basically one of the top guys in Mexico. Like, yeah, best match was in 99, averaging 88, 113, and 15. And yeah, like, yeah, he's been in feuds for the World Trios titles, World Light Heavyweight title. I'm sure if I looked into these main events by CML, they've all been top of the card. Like, he is, like, yeah, one of the top guys in the promotion now. Veteran this year is Scott Steiner. See, this Scott's the version of Scott Steiner where he never, like, basically killed his foot. So he's still a perfectly competent wrestler. Like, he's 43, and he's still a perfectly solid year. Like, he had a 35 and 20. Like, you know, not the biggest year. Was part of Top Shelf for most of the year with DDP and Hall. And since then, you know, he's had some interesting matches. Let's see, do you have any title matches? He's part of the Royal Rumble. Michaels beat him in a dog collar match, and then Batista beat him in an I Quit match. Interesting. But yeah, he's now babyface, and he's on SmackDown, and he's having perfectly solid matches on SmackDown. Like, yeah, he's in main events, so he's getting carried by guys like Benoit, and, you know, honestly, DDP in a sense. But it is what it is, you know? Not the best stuff, but, you know, he's doing pretty solid for a 43-year-old guy. Female Wrestler of the Year is Miami Toyota. You know, she's working for DDT and Gaia, so she's being helped out there. But yeah, she had an average rating of 76, highest rating of 94. Yeah, she's just having fantastic matches. Yeah, I mean, nothing fancy there. Is my name Toya. In 2006, she's still freaking great. Most Improved Company of the Year is in NWA New Jersey. They have Reckless Youth, Mike Quackenbush, Nova, Joel Maximo, Julio De Niro, Mosh, Dennis Corluzzo, Pitbull 1. It's basically kind of like a quasi ECW / indie. Let me go to their popularity and see what they've actually done. So, I mean, yeah, they've gained 8 points in the last year, which for an indie company is pretty solid, but also sort of a sign that we don't have much room to go. Okay, and Independent Wrestler of the Year goes to Kari Fukuoka. She worked at DDT and Gaia, so yeah, I guess she's not the best person, not under an exclusive contract. She is averaging 73, not bad. So we'll go to the award histories for those two. Let me see here. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, right. It was Scott Hall the past 3 years, but I think he's just no good anymore. And Female Wrestler of the Year was Molly Holly, Trish, Lita, Toyota. And Independent Wrestler of the Year was Monty Brown, Pantera, Shibata, Fukuoka. And then Most Improved Company was 3PW, HWA, and Pro. So there you go. Interesting. Then we go to Manager of the Year, which is unfortunately, she doesn't actually manage anybody, but she's really over. So yeah, there we go. Announcer of the Year is Masahiro Asagiwa, who works for All Japan and is making a ton of money for All Japan. And that might be a problem for them, as I'll get into later. But yeah, I mean, he's really good. His announcing is, 94. So there you go. And color commentator of the year is Okaya Akada, who works for 01 and Gaia. And yeah, he's actually not being paid that much. But hey, he's dating Dynamite Kainzai, so that's interesting for him. And referee of the year is Hiriko Uno, Red Shoes for New Japan. So there you go. So yeah, there's the awards. I mean, kind of interesting that we got show of the year and match of the and team of the year went to these guys. Everything else is sort of what you expect in the range. So now let's go to the Power 500. So first, let's just run through the best wrestlers. Yeah, just the top. Let's go first out with the top 25. So actually, let's start out with the top 50. So 50 is Booker T. Then 49 is Paragaro Jr., up from 320. He's working for AAA. 48 is Paul London, up for 106, working for us. 47 is Scott Hall, down from 14. So he kind of I think he got de-pushed. And then he also is just aging. Stevie Richards, still at 46, but he's down from 17. Because he's not quite in the sort of like super jobber to stars role. He was just sort of more of just a pure jobber at this point. Lane Storm, 45, up from 65. So, hey, we actually booked him. 44, down from 20, which kind of makes sense because I had him in sort of, what am I looking at? Like, sort of like some lesser matches. 43 is Batista, up from 66. 42 is Akiyama, because he's fucking Akiyama, up from 74, so good for him. 41 is JBL, up from 88. 40 is Blue Panther, up from 290. So CML is like really turning around. 39 is Heavy Metal, up from 41. Tarzan Boys, up from 83 for CML. Narcostas is up from 37. The Parker Jr. is up to 36 for AAA. 35 Billy Kidman, down from 31. So despite being the world champion this year, had a slightly worse year in the ring, which makes sense. Ultimo Guerrero for CMLL is down from 27, not bad. Ray Bucareno is down from 26. He's at 33. Ray Jr.'s up from 46 up to 32. Again, my guys, because I actually book things somewhat realistically, and I have like squash matches. I have like sort of like mid-card matches. You know, they aren't facing main events every show. Means they're going to have some low ratings, but still not bad. Blue Demon Jr., also from AAA. Lant Levers from CML is down from 37. DDP is holding on. He's down from 15, but still really solid stuff. He's basically getting sort of carried by beating big matches. But, you know, he had a solid year. Like, still went over 500, still being pushed decently well. Even though if I look at his booking now, since the brand split, he's sort of like in that sort of like mid-card gatekeeper role, as he's been feuding with guys like the It Crowd, Crash Holly, and so on. AJ Styles up from 28, your new world champion. Christian Cage, down from 13 at 27. I guess, yeah, he was part of the Stables Angle last year, and I mean, still a very good year for him. Average rating of, 85, so yeah. Octagon for CML, 26, up from 39. Chuck Colombo, the man, up from 69, number 25, main event, yeah. Hundreds help you out there, I guess. Electroshock, up from 29. Abibo Negro, up from 28. I hope you guys would be part of the up here, considering you're part of the best tag team world, supposedly. Randy Orton, who's down from 12 due to some interesting booking, which I'll explain later, and not being on TV in a while. Rob Van Dam, up from 38 to 21. Vampiro is up from 22 up to 20. But yeah, we're in a weird spot, as he's still getting basically wins, as you can see, but he's not really getting much of a push. Like, he's sort of like stuck there. The biggest thing he's done really since SummerSlam is be part of the 4-way Intercontinental title match. Hector Garza all the way up to 19 from 55, so a really good year for him. Dr. Wagner Jr. is up from 24 to number 18 for CMLL. Black Warriors up from 51 to 17. As you can see, Mexico's had a really good year this year, so, good stuff for them. Big shows, now part of Jericho's Jerk with Jericho. Good year, 46 wins, 21 losses. Sort of like in the main event heel spot with Jericho on Raw. Shockers up from 32 to number 15. Angles down from number 3 to number 14, so that's interesting. 93 average rating. Mystico, like I said, 13 in the world. Hoovy, who I'll get into later, but yeah, he's had a complete turnaround here, and he's like one of the top. He's one of the top guys in Mexico. He made an interesting choice for the start of the year. So he's number 12 now, up from 44. Michaels down from number 2 is number 11. Taker is number 10, so down from number 1. I think just like less of a great year, just like sort of random, like average 94, so still great. Kane, okay, this is a world where Kane is better than Taker, which is interesting. I'm going to guess just like, less matches, honestly, probably helped. Steiner's number 8, up from 23, okay, so that makes sense. Billy Gunn, yes, Billy Gunn, here's number 7 wrestler in the world. Again, they use straight match rating, so there you go. Edge is number 6, up from number 10, so good stuff for him. Jericho's up from number 5. Triple H is number 4, up from number 11, despite him being out of the promotion after SummerSlam. Regal's number 3, up from 19. Benoit is number 2, up from number 4. And Brock Lesnar is number 1. So interesting stuff there. I'll go quickly through the various companies, just see see if there's anybody else interesting here. Let's see here. For us first, our guys, let's see here. Out of the guys I just went over, so just outside the number 50 is Brother Ray, up from 151. Makes sense, he had a good strong year. Jack Lynn's 53, up from 124. Canyon down from 34 to 66. Makes sense, I kind of pushed him a little differently. Chris Harris, up from 188 to 72. Monty Brown, up from 214 to 75. Again, more prominent position, better matches. James Storm, up from 180 to number 76. Strong stuff. Jindrak, up from 113 to 85. Not bad. Kazu Hayashi, again, finally pushing him. Now he's at an 86. Matt Hardy's up from 97 to 88. Benjamin's up from 46 to 91. That's partly us and partly WWE. Jeff Hardy is down from 54, but he also didn't have that many matches because the whole, drug thing. Killings is down from 86 to 97. Interesting. Anderson's up from 416 to 98. Shane Helms is down from 45 to 99. Makes sense. He was de-pushed this year. Jimmy Yang is up from 357 to 100. Sean O'Hare is down from 42 to 101. Yeah, he did not have the best year. Jeff Jarrett's actually, I think they do account for a number of matches because yeah, it makes no sense. 103. Kid Cash is down from 92 to 113. Jamie Noble's down from 101 to 124. Trish Stratus is up to 129 from 134. Teddy Hart is at 132, down from 128. And Keith and Sterling James Keenan, otherwise better known as Keenan Sharp for WCW, is up to 137. And Bill Goldberg's 142. Yeah, okay, so Gail Kim's up to 154. Let me see if there's anything else interesting. Jody Lawler's up from 206 to 178. To 183, rather. Let's see here. Tajiri fell down a bit from 143 to 211. Mickey James is up from 353 to 214. Lufisto, aka Celine Cartier, is up from 340 to 231. Dean Malenko fell down to 232. But yeah, I mean, he did only jobs, at least in singles matches. Jonathan Toro is down from 122 to 33. That makes sense. As you can see, there's a point where I stopped having ideas for him. I have an idea for him in the new year, but yeah, it's going to be something interesting. Angel Fox is up, despite having not the best year. Lita is down from 213 to 259. Morningstar is down from 85 to 265. Again, not that many matches, lots of tags with people a lot worse than him. Anybody else survive? Raven's down from 36 to 308, but I also had him basically all garbage matches. That makes sense. Oh, Macias is down from 70 to 315. Again, not a lot of main event matches, lots of like that tag. Claudio's new. Trevor Slater's new. Transprofit's up. Kim Nielsen's good. Matt Cross is new. Bobby Lashley's new. Reckless Youth is new. Jerry Lynn fell down a bunch. Kid Romeo fell down a bunch. Lacey is up a bit. Keith Walker's up. And Killswitch and Elix Skipper. Then if we look at, say... I'm just curious. Let me see what Noah's looking at their roster, because I'm kind of curious what they're doing. It has to be Okay, so this is basically just they have some tag matches that aren't as good, so they fall down a bit. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Anyway, so again, one other check I wanted to do was anybody who's a female. So let's do the best female. Okay, so Maya Toyota's up to 84, up from 142. Toshi Yamutsu is up from 160 to 89. Molly Holly's up from 110 to 95. Veronica Vane, Veronica Vane, aka the former, I can't remember what name I used for WCW, but our former wrestler is up from 360 to 119, actually pretty solid. Trish Stratus up from 129. Gary Fukuoka is up to 133. Amber James is up to 138 from 418, interesting. Cootie Suzuki's up 140. Gail Kim's up to 154. Let's see, or anybody else of note. Joni Lawler's up to 183. Shaniqua's up to 209, up from 238. Let's see here. Anybody else? Jamie Keys is new. We see Nabusic's up from 476. All that Alyssa Alexander, aka Chilo and Melissa's up to 284. Mercedes Martinez, despite being in over DT, is up to 290. Hyoki Ino is down a bit. Hail Hatred's down. Jackie Gate is down. Julia Nao's down. Kara Slice is down. Let's see here. Anybody new? Okay. Ollie Danger's new. Aja Kong's down a bit. Ariel's down a bit. Chantel Taylor's new, or Chantel Fierce said she's doing WWF. And Angel Obscura, aka Sarah Stock. And Angeline Hall. Angeline Boarding, and Miss Molly, and Emi Sakura. Interesting. So yeah, that's that. And then we go to the most popular. So, whole world. So, USA. Let me just reset this. So, number one in the world is Shawn Michaels. He's at a 99. He's working great. Oops. I checked that USA. Okay, so then we got Lesnar, Goldberg, Edge, Triple H, Jericho, Angle, Taker, Ray stupidly over in the US still, Canyon, Big Show, Booker, who's more over than you'd think, Jarrett, RVD, Foley, Palumbo, Kaz, again, stupidly over, guys should pushing more. Orton, Benoit, AJ Styles, Eddie Guerrero, Ron Killings, Johnny Lawler, Paul London, JBL, Trisha Sky, Stacy, Alex Wright, Molly Holly, Jack Evans, Billy Kidman, Regal, Daniels, Nikita Colt, Shane McMahon, Raven, Jeff Hardy, Brother Ray, Ric Flair, woo, Don Fry, Ken Anderson, DDP, Lance Storm, Monty Brown, Sting, Scott Hall, Mike Awesome, Sean O'Hare, Vampiro, and Shane Helms were writing things out. Let's see, who's the first guy who's not... I mean, Kevin Nash is still super over. He's still over in Japan. But outside of that, Warriors, I mean, he's still around. We're in a world where Johnny Devine is a bigger star than Warrior right now. Let's see here. Shane Douglas is over in Japan. Taz is retired. Ken Shamrock's over in Japan. Vampire Wars in Mexico. Again, we live in a world where Hulk Hogan is less over than Lufisto. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's everybody else covered. Akabono's on the Indies, but also over, yeah. Tabiasi's weirdly over, but yeah. So, let me see. If we check out Canada, no big changes here. Yeah, JBL is weirdly over. But, I mean, there's going to be a lot more of the WWE guys over because we're not that over in Canada. Mexico's a whole other scene as Bill Goldberg and Ray Jr., as you expect. But then, Hoovy at number 3. Hector Garza at number 12. Connects at number 18. Abizu Negros at number 23. Dr. Jones at 24. Jojo dos Santos at 28. Ric Flair is still really over. And Shocker's at number 34. So there you go. If we go to the British Isles, again, nothing that really stands out here as far as overness goes. If we go to Japan, Masala is the first Japanese-only guy at number 9. Choshu's at number 11. Buto's at 13. Shona's at 19. Kobashi's at 23. Sakuraba's at 26. Kawada's at 28. Liger's at 31. So, yeah. And then Europe. Europe is nothing really standing out here. And same thing with Oceania, yeah. And then, if we look at the current battles going on, so area battles route is just us, which is, and we actually won last month, which is interesting. That's our first win, I think, probably since last Starrcade, honestly. And I don't think I'm not even sure if we won last time there. And then Japan, it's us, it's WE, it's New Japan, and Noah. So WE's, yes, is taking over Japan as well. For regional battles, we got Great Lakes, which is between OVW, HWA, and NBW. So basically, the two WE territories basically beating up on these guys. Southeast is Wildside, MLW, and Impact. Yes, Impact is third. That's bad for them. Southwest is RDev Fed, Pro Wrestling Iron, APW, pretty close race. Tri-State is Ring of Violence, Integrity, basically tied, 3BW, NWA New Jersey, CCW, and Super Gals. Mexico, it's just a mix. Okay, so, and England got PPUK, FWA, NWA UK, and IPW UK. Kanto is Gaia, Big Japan Kingdom, and A to Z. And Central Europe is WXO, DVRB, EWA, GAF, and ACW. So there we go. So now that we covered the world, now let's go over our actual roster bit by bit. So figurehead is still Bill Goldberg. He's still the guy. He's been the figurehead for 3 years. Tenders are up by 11%, and merchandise is up by 40%. And that's the main reason why he's probably going to be the figurehead for a while, is he just sells merch. Product is still the same it is. I mean, this is the type of stuff I like to book. I like angles, but I like matches. Like, I'm never going to go full Crash TV, but I'm never going to be the guy who, like, throws out a 20-minute match for the sake of throwing out a 20-minute match. Creative-wise, so, franchise players, Bill Goldberg, Ray Jr., Rob Van Dam, The Truth, Eddie Guerrero. Again, it's interesting that neither Styles or Plum was on there, but they still have 96, which just shows how sort of deep our roster is. Next big things, Angel Fox, Ray LePen, Yang, Cesaro, and Lila Vivez. All of these guys I basically agree with. Maybe not LePen. Angel Fox could be really, like, she could be somebody who could really get a big push next year. Vivez is good. I just don't have the spot for it yet. Hot prospects, Angel Vivez, Alyssa Alexander, Lexi James, Lila Vivez, Yang. Do you notice that we have a lot of, like, young female wrestlers on our Talk to Talk, Canyon, Flair, Booker, RVD, Jarrett. AKA the people I give lots of long segments to on TV. Showstoppers, Ray Jr., Rob Van Dam, AJ Styles, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy. Again, Jeff Hardy would probably be my number 2 or number 3 babyface, even though I don't really like him that much as a character, just because of stupidly over he is. if you could not have be on drugs all the time. Ring generals: Ray Jr., Lance Storm, Eddie, Morningstar, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Who's Hot, Booker T, Kaz, O'Hare, Royal Goldberg, Jindrak. Only person who's not is Chavo, which sort of makes sense. So yeah, that's sort of like, the overall creative. Titles. So let's start with the bottom. The women's tag titles: Anna Vidal, Nikki Radcliffe, aka Social Scene. So, you're started with European Union winning the tag titles off Maya Toyota and Kyoku Inoue. Then they had a couple defenses, including against Rona Jonah and Lila Vez, defeating Celine Cartier and Alexander at Great American Bash, losing the titles in a triple threat match involving Captivation. Then Social Scene win the defeat Lizzie Dumas, Lexi James, in a Glitz and Glam match. Then he beat Cartier and Alexander on the last match before Starrcade. So 66. Prestige is up a point. Interesting stuff. Not our best feud, but not our worst feud either. And then if we go to the World Television title, okay, so yeah, you're started with Jason Jett as the champion. He had a few defenses with guys with the right. He had the 4-way at the January pay-per-view. He had a few more defenses. The Truth came in, beat him in March. He held the title, had the usual defense styles. Actually, then he dropped the title to Lance Storm. Storm went through, actually, defended a little bit more on actual TV as opposed to Saturday night. This was probably the point where Saturday night became a pure jobber show for me. And he had it for a while, so Anderson dropped the title from him. Anderson held it for 4 months until, of course, the Chosen Few got involved to cost Jamie Noble the title at Revolution. So there you go. So with Track Prestige, it's actually beginning to slowly work over. Again, I could create a new TV title, but I like the idea of building it up after it'd been literally thrown in the trash. Then after that, there's the Cruiserweight title. Again, started the year with Taka Michioku. He defeated Aguila at Showdown and Sun, defeated in a rematch. Matt Sydal won a triple threat match at Super Brawl. He defended title against Osei and Skipper in a triple threat match at Wrestle War. Then defeated Aries. Roberts defeated Asel and Aries. Then Roberts held the title, defeating Lynn, Sydal, Aries, Ron Rossi. And then at Highwire Havoc, Maverick Chance took the title. So again, that's Track Prestige. It's gone down through the year, but that makes sense. Started the year with Taka, and it's basically in sort of a lower mid-card melt sense, unfortunately. We go to the U.S. title. Started the year with Jonathan Toro, right? Defeating him for the title back at Super Brawl. He held the title until, honestly, a lot longer than I thought he did, till that June Nitro, where Austin beat him for the title. Truth then beat Austin for the title in September. He held the title till December, when Jindrak won the belt, and then London just won the belt for the second time. Prestige overall, perfectly solid stuff. Dropped a little bit, but then back up to 77. So again, Cruiserweight title, I didn't expect Youth Reckless to keep the title for that long, but I never had anybody better for take the title off. Then he got in for 2 months before I could really debut him, so that was another issue. Television title is what it is. I actually have sort of a plan for Noble in the new year. And the Women's World Tag title, I honestly, looking back, I like the booking more than I did at the time. Because I honestly forgot that they got 2 defenses in, which making you feel better about them not having a defense at the pay-per-view. At Starrcade. Let's see here. And US title, the right title reign, I think, was just my sort of last time I took a hiatus from this, so I just probably forgot to yell it for that long. I like the Austin because that was part of the dominant part of when Triumvirate held all the titles. And then Truth won it. That was part of his rise. Jindrak was a short little run, basically drop it to London. But that was something for Jindrak to do and give him a little boost as well. So yeah, moving on to the World Tag Team Championships. Of course, it started the year with Morningstar and Mercedes having the title. AMW won the titles off of them, beginning the end of the Deadpool. In the long run, then AMW defeated Jindrak and Vine, defeated Awesome Storm, defeated Helms and Tomko. Awesome Storm won the belts at Slamboree and the Aerial Anarchy, defeated AMW in a rematch. Then Hardy Boys debuted, winning titles, defeated Helms and Tomko at Bash at the Beach, defeated Awesome Storm and AMW in Triple Threat at British Assault, which was not a main pay-per-view, but something just for British TV, basically. Hardy Boys defeated Awesome Storm on Mayhem, then Hardy Boys defeated Ryan and Chavo at Nitro, continue that Ryan and Chavo breakup. Then Hardy Boys defeated AMW at Fall Brawl. Ninkyo defeated the Hardy Boys to win the titles. Then AMW got him back in the rematch on Revolution. Then Ninkyo won the titles back in a triple threat match. Then Booker and T. Shelton won it back as part of Tag Team Turmoil. I know some people didn't like the sort of hot potato at the end of the year, And I probably could have figured out a slightly better way to do that, but, it's not the end of the world. It's on guys who I wanted to be at the end and help build up Yang and Kaz and make, these guys big stars. So, I'm sure there was a better way, but, it could be a lot worse. Now, your Women's World Champion, of course, the year started with Trisha Sky having just won the title. She defeated Angel Fox and Lexi James. Then she lost by then Lawler beat her by DQ. Then Trisha Sky defeated Gail Kim to retain. Gail Kim defeated Trisha Sky. Celine defeated Gail Kim by DQ. In the rematch, Gail Kim got the win. Trisha Sky defeated Gail Kim, defeated Nia Colt back at British Assault. Liz Dumas joining Lawler. Colt won the title in a bit of a shock. Then she won the 4-way ladder match at Starrcade. So good stuff. And yeah, slowly building things up here. And I really like the women's division that I built here. It's not like sort of the typical division people build with like lots of honestly Japanese women, but it has characters, it has storylines, it has stuff I like enjoying. And of course, the big thing, the World Heavyweight Championship. So, your starts with Rob Van Dam as a champion. He defeats Helms in the rematch at Shonen and Sun. He beats Ray Jr. at Revolution. He beats Jeff Jarrett. He beats Monty Brown. He beats Eddie and Canyon, of course, at Wrestle War. And then, as part of that, Kidman cashes in, wins the championship. Kidman defeats Rob Van Dam. Kidman defeats Booker T. And then, the bad booking I did where I actually gave Canyon a title, then I gave him back in a segment. Then Kidman defeats Booker T, Jarrett, and London in a 4-way at British Assault, and a 4-way throwaway. Then Ray Jr. defeats Kidman to win the title at Mayhem. Palumbo takes the title from Ray Jr. at Fall Brawl, defeats Ray Jr. in a rematch at Revolution, defeats Goldberg, defeats London and Brother Ray in the 100, and then defeats Palumbo in the World Heavyweight title main event at Starrcade. So again, solid year for that. Honestly, so a little behind the booking door here. I was originally going to have Ray Jr. actually beat Palumbo the first time at Fall Brawl, then have Palumbo basically do a beatdown post-match and have him win the match. But then I figured at that point that would sort of like make Palumbo kind of look like a geek, even if he beat Goldberg at Havoc. So I just decided to give Ray him the clean win, and Ray Jr. obviously is still stupidly over, so he could take it, I think there's no other weird booking things that I can remember off the top of my head. The Women's World title, so I honestly sort of booked the ladder match and worked back from it, like near the end of the year. I honestly was going to have, I think maybe I was going to have Nikita win the title at Starrcade, but I actually like her shockingly winning it Bound for Glory, and everybody sort of assuming that's the way, just get it off to Gail Kim or joining Lawler to the new year without Trish Sky doing the job, but then just have Nikita winning it again. US title match, again, this was basically set up, I think I might have something slightly different. Of course, main tournament was AJ Styles. Cruiserweight title, again, Maverick Chance had a bad back, so he couldn't really work for a couple months. So I had to move, he was really going to win the title back probably in October. And, then maybe lose the title at Starrcade. Did somebody had to come in. And then World Tag Titles, basically how it was booked. Maybe a little bit different week to week, but that's about it. So, storylines I'm not going to really go over because they're in flux at the moment. Stables, your current stables are Captivation, Lizzie Dumas, Desiree Dawkins, and Lexi James. Chosen Few, Jarrett, Jindrak Divine, The Nest of Raven, Morningstar, Prophet, Macias, and Morgan, and Triumvirate of Kidman, Storm, and Hunter. And you may notice something missing from that, which I'll go over when I go over the roster. Let's see here. What else do I want to go over? Announcers will spoil something. Well, okay. You probably noticed some things, but I'm still going to notice it. So broadcasting situation is sort of weird at the moment. So at the moment, we do not have Nitro. We do not have Nitro showing in the UK because our contract ran with Sky, but we've sort of lost. So what happened was, remember, we lost the contract with Sky, so we put Revolution on the WCW network in the UK, but then we lost. But then since we were on Sky for pay-per-views, that contract ran out and the Nitro contract ran out. But we could move the WCW. We could move Nitro to WCW Network for the UK, but unfortunately, we can't quite do it. Or maybe we can. I'll have to double check that. I thought we couldn't, but maybe we can. No, I think it's because we're also doing that for the US. So so that's a problem. But I mean, everything else is working well. I might again. I don't like using this as a backup, but the only reason I'm okay with using it as sort of an anachronistic thing is the way the game handles TV contracts is sort of dumb. Like, I can deal with losing a TV contract, but like, just to say something with random, like, just to use the advantage of the UK. So, Sky One knocked us out. That's fine. But even in a world where Sky One like was not happy with our like 80s for Revolution, say, let me just find a smaller network, ITV, or even ESPN UK, or Challenge TV, or maybe even Channel 4 would have been happy to pick us up if our contract ran out. That's the weird thing about the game, And I get it, you don't want people like being able to put out like crap shows until get contracts, but it still makes sort of weird sense. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Events. So we do have a slightly different event calendar for this year. So Self Nitro Revolution on Monday and Wednesday. Clash of the Champions, the new January pay-per-view. Super Brawl, Sacrifices the March pay-per-view. April is Russia War. May is Rising Sun Revolution, but it's going to be basically a Japan-only show. Then Slamboree, Show in the Sun, which is still going to be a Mexican show, but next show in Mexico, but still be a Mexico-only show. Great American Bash, Bash at the Beach. Pressure Assault, again, a UK-only show. Mayhem, Fall Brawl, Halloween Havoc, Bound for Glory, and Starcade. Top 100, so just go over stuff. Our top 100 events, that's 2006, not 2005. So with Starcade, so we were really hot heading into the pay-per-view, which I didn't realize. Like, we had a bunch of great shows. Super Brawl was great. But yeah, basically our November and December really just shot up stuff. Then we look at our best 100 matches. So the game actually thinks the tag match was better than the main event, but just like it was the main event world title match, which is that above me. Then the random 6-man tag just before Starcade. This tag match on Revolution. Then we had the 98 match, Evan versus Eddie at Starcade, which of course I went over. RVD Jarrett, Kidman RVD, Nikio versus AMW Hardy Boys at Bound for Glory. RVD versus Ray at Bound for Glory. AJ versus Palumbo at Starcade. Ray Kidman at Mayhem in August. Eddie Kanan at a Random Nitro. Eddie Algi Santo. So yeah, lots of good stuff here. Then we go to top 100 attendances. 50,000 for Starcade, which was at at the Astrodome. Top 100 buy rates. Best was Great American Bash, which I'm guessing is because of Top 100 TV ratings. Nitro back in January, which I'm just going to throw to I think the world. Top 100 viewerships was Rising Sun Revolution, I think because I forget exactly that's the reason why. We got Nitro, interesting. Let's see here. Backstage is hunky and dory. Like, the Truth and Knox Right don't like each other, which is interesting. Killswitch and Raven have some tension, and Don Fry and Bill Goldberg have some tension. And then sure, there's some drug test failures, but everything else is good. Let's see here. Developmental, I'll go over in a minute. Finance, we're making all the money. Like, we're making basically $10 million a month. We have $300 million in the bank, so there we go. And that's why and again, backstage note, I changed Eric Bischoff's wealth from millionaire to billionaire just because, he's not really in charge. Fusion is in charge, but there's no, random FuseNet guy. Let's see here. Medical-wise, so Don Fry's out for about another month. Tank Tolan's out for basically another couple weeks, and some other people are working through stuff. Nothing major, though. Merch-wise, it's Goldberg, it's Ray, it's Kanan, it's Booker, it's Joni, AJ Styles, Trish Sky, Truth, Jeff Hardy, RVD, Palumbo, Jarrett Anderson, sort of everybody you expect. And then way down to the bottom is some Maverick Chance, who literally just debuted, $9. Cookie, $22. Jerry Dawkins, $49. Prince Osei is at $996. I imagine this is just their cuts of standard WCW merchandise, because we are not selling any Dean Malenko, direct merch, So I guess that's just their cut of the WCW logo t-shirt sales or belt or whatever. Then size-wise, so yeah, track progress. So in the USA, we're up to a 90. So we're actually in sort of striking distance of the WWF, which is good. Canada, we're sort of at our maximum because of our TV contract. So I may have to run some actual shows there just to build us up. Mexico, again, we're 89. British Isles, 91. Japan, 95, 92, 91. Europe's weird because of our TV contract situation. We're building up everywhere, so there you go. Oceania is great everywhere except New Zealand. This year, I might import a New Zealand TV station from another save, and just because the problem is all the TV stations Oceania do everything but New Zealand. So yeah. India and India's India. Nobody's even trying there yet. Let's see here. Relationships. So yeah, we got ABQ, we got NBA Wildside, and then this is a new one, which I'll go over more specifically when I go look over them as a company. So basically, I bailed out Dragon Gate because they were losing lots of money, and then now we're accepting workers on excursion from them. So we'll see if we get anybody good who can be part of the Cruiserweight division while they're on excursion, or we'll just stick them in development ourselves. And in like 20 years, some huge Japanese star will have stories of working in rural Georgia in front of like 200 people who don't know who they are. But yeah. Now for the fun part. Jesse goes over a stupid amount of the roster. All right, let's start from the top here. And ironically, we start from the top with our World Heavyweight Champion, AJ Styles. So AJ has a thrill seeker gimmick, which is very good. Somebody in the comments noted that might be a good idea to help with his pop cap to maybe change his gimmick or make him more muscular. I'll think about doing that, and also just see if maybe I just haven't had maybe good matches from the breakthrough. But yeah, he's AJ Styles, and he might be even a better version than AJ was in real life. Because honestly, I don't think in 2006 AJ was quite at 84 psych. Charisma Micro, he was not this good charisma mic wise yet. Star quality, that's actually fair. Sex appeal, well, somebody else will have to answer that. But yeah, he is insanely good, and he's really good, and there's a reason why I made him my top guy, and why even in real life he had this gritty year. Pop wise, he started at 83 already, but he only gained 3 points of the year, but he had a hell of a year. And again, if we look through things, so so going back, of course, he had ended 2005 by defeating Eddie Guerrero. He immediately got in feuds. He tagged with Ray to take on Awesome Storm. He took on Palumbo at Rising Sun Revolution. Then was part of the 4-way match for the #1 slot at Revolution, at Mayhem rather. Defeated. Then he of course won the Mayhem tournament. Defeated Billy Kidman. Then was fighting in that top of the card morass with Monty Brown, RVD, Ray Jr., Paul London, Booker T, all those guys. Then he defeated Booker, Monty, and Billy Kidman to keep his Starrcade title shot, and of course won the title at Starrcade. Really good year, obviously. He's 26, and he could be the guy for quite a while for me because I enjoy booking him. In theory, he could turn heel. If he ever gets little sales of babyface, and he's really good in the ring. He's decently charismatic. Again, maybe I'll find somebody better for him that he's doing really good right at the moment. Next up, Alex Wright. Again, somebody who in real life was already retired by this point at 30. Turned back heel after being a babyface for a while now. Honestly, I didn't have anything to do with him. I didn't have really much of character. And this really heel turn has worked out for him. That's Greatest gimmick, which is a great, unfortunately, large penalty star quality, but hey, just don't write him star quality, right? But yeah, so skills-wise, thing about him is he's not a great wrestler, except for flashiness. But he still has some really good, he has good psych, he has good star quality. The interesting thing is he's not great at anything, but he's a perfectly solid wrestler. And pop-wise, 74, hovering in the 85 range by the end of the year. I think he'll never be a top guy, but he could get a world title shot this year, and he'll be part of the upper card of whatever show he ends up being after the draft. I think if we look at his match history, if we go back to the beginning of the year, if we go back to Starrcade, he of course had been part of the tag team turmoil where they lost to AMW. Then if we go to Charlotte Sun, he was part of the 4-way for the TV title. He beat Toro for the US title at Super Brawl, defending against Noble. Still was teamed with Red and Chavo. Lost to Don Fry, beat him up, and lost by DQ. Eventually, he was part of sort of the top of the card, on Nitro. Mike Awesome beating for the US title in a 90 on Nitro. Then he was Nitro for a while, dropped to Eddie Wright. He dropped to Eddie Guerrero. He sort of became our jobber to the stars on Nitro for a little bit until I had the idea to have him feud with the team with Wright and Chavo for a bit. So we had that, the return of Wright and Chavo. They won matches. They beat Humble and Tomko. They win the 4-way #1 contendership match. They lose the They lose the tag title match. Then Wright and Shiri have to team up together after Chavo is attacked by Ninkeo. Ninkeo wins. Wright turns on Shiri. Wright turns heel. He defeats Tajiri. I didn't realize I booked him to beat Reno a month apart. Oh well. Then Truth won U.S. title. He defeated U.S. title against him. At Bound for Glory, he defeats Chavo. Then we had the feud with Canyon, and Canyon got the win here. So again, maybe, who knows, maybe the feud with Canyon will continue, or maybe it won't. We'll have to see. Then there's Goldberg. Goldberg's always interesting because, like, he's interesting to book because, like, if he's not going after the World Championship, there has to be a reason why. And, like, I sort of built him already as sort of, like, our ambassador to the world. He's doing all the TV spots, the morning shows, the, soft focus, the mainstream stuff. Cause even looking there's not a ton of guys who do great on the mainstream stuff. Maybe Ray, but not Van Dam. Our top guys are not a lot of super Good Morning America show friendly people, honestly. Maybe AJ can be that, but looking back anyway, pop wise, Goldberg's Goldberg. He's a 95 now. He was a 90 at the start of the year. He's stupidly over. He's fucking Goldberg. And yeah, I mean, he actually wrestled more than I thought he did. This is okay. So it's more than it's actually about the same as he did last year. Less than he did in 2003, but more than I honestly thought. So yeah, I mean, he basically did take off. So he beat Brother Ray back in January. Then he was off for a couple months. He returned. Had the little feud with Don Fry. Went 1-1 with him. Went no contest with Sean O'Haire. Then there's a feud from there. He defeated Eddie at Bash at the Beach. Defeated Macias at British Assault. Defeated Frygan on a Nitro. Had the lost to Palumbo as part of the Mayhem tournament. Then you had a bunch of wins. Setting up the main event title match at Halloween Havoc. Lost that. Then basically set up the feud with Helms and Tomko and beat Helms there. So solid year. Again, I like the fact that I can job Goldberg without feeling like it's going to ruin him. But also, you don't want to actually job Goldberg a lot. It makes no sense to. Skill-wise, I mean, he's still fine. He's not dropping off anywhere. He's actually getting a little better in spots. Let's see here. Yeah, charisma, acting. I mean, he's still freaking Goldberg. This stuff is he'll eventually drop off, but he's not getting there yet. I didn't realize he had a family death. That was one of his injuries. I totally missed that. Okay. Billy Kidman. So Kidman had an interesting year because, he was world champion for how long during this year? Yeah, from April to August in this year. But, I don't know. It felt a lot longer than that because, that was part of the hiatus. But, and he never really got that over, unfortunately. I feel like he really hit the pop cap, so it is what it is. But yeah, skills-wise, I mean, he's still actually really good. Especially, I'm probably hurting him by having him be a heel, at least if this is real life. Obviously, in the game, he's still using all this stuff, but, he is stupidly flashy still. His psych is great. I mean, he's never been that charismatic. I honestly probably, hurt him by being sort of a top heel, but he's been shockingly good at it. And, again, he, if we go back to last year, of course, he beat Canyon at Starrcade, turned that into defeating Ray Jr. at Rising Sun Revolution in Mexico. Oh no, that's March, sorry. Yeah, Tour Roll, he beat Paul London. He beat Rising Sun Revolution. Of course, at the April show at Wrestle War, he won the world title by cashing in after a long match. Then he beat RVD in the rematch in the 2 out of 3 falls match. He beat Booker T. He beat Kanan, regardless of what that says there. He won the 4 at British Assault. And he eventually did drop the title, of course, at where is it? At Mayhem. But then he did the job to AJ Styles, and then he lost the 4-way. But he did beat Brother Ray at the pay-per-view at Starrcade to keep the number 1 draft pick. And he had a really solid like stretch of really good matches here. So again, he'll be, maybe he won't be a tippy top heel anymore, but I could see if maybe a future face term for him, or I don't know. He's been really solid though. Booker T. Booker T is interesting because like he's still stupidly over. Yeah, like just look at this. Like he's just been consistently stupidly over. But in ring, he's actually getting a little bit like he's like either keeping base, and charisma and microphone wise, like yeah, this stuff is all solid. Like he's never been the best in ring worker, but he's doing perfectly well here, and he's not bad at all. Again, match history wise, last year he ended the year beating Jeff Jarrett. And then if we start this year, he actually didn't wrestle that much, less than I thought, especially at the start of the year. Like it's always interesting, like people who I don't know if like people I just forget about booking or just people I don't have plans for. It's always interesting, like because Great American Bash is like sort of a good splitting point, and it's like he worked a lot more at the second part of the year than the first part. And he wasn't really even in any big matches really. Like yeah, he didn't have a pay-per-view match outside of Palumbo, which I guess okay, he beat Palumbo just to earn a title shot to do the job. I'm sure there's a storyline reason for why I wasn't really booking him on TV on pay-per-views. I mean, also there wasn't that many because January pay-per-view was Nitro, February was both shows, so there wasn't really spots. March was Japanese only, so there wasn't really much for him to do. Okay, I guess that makes more sense. Anyway, but yeah, after a year, he had the feud. He lost to Sensiaki as part of the MAM tournament. He began teaming with Shelton. Got to meet revenge against Siaki. Defeated Kid Cash after a short little mini feud. Defeated Lance Storm. It was part of the 4-way for the Starrcade title shot. And then, of course, won the tag titles as part of the tag team turmoil. Brother Ray. Brother Ray is an interesting one. Legendary Street Fighter gimmick. And pop-wise, I actually bet he did not go over. Yeah. So he gained 10 points. So at the start of the year, he was sort of like a fringe mid-card, upper mid-carder. And now he's like a solid main event guy. Let me just look over this. Yeah. Skills-wise, great brawler, great hardcore, good, really good psychology. Again, this is a better version of Brother Ray than there was in real life. But yeah. Again, if we look at match history, at the end of last year, he was just part of that 6-man hardcore war match where he actually did the job. And he actually had a under 500 record. That was including WWF. So let me look at just WCW. So since he came over in July, he was basically actually kind of a job. Interesting. Even in in singles matches, he was 1-2, 2-2, 3-2-3, 3-3, 5-3. Okay, so really until I gave him the push to the main of the main tournament, I really wasn't pushing him that hard, which is interesting looking back. Anyway, 2005, he really got going by basically challenging Goldberg. Lost a strong match to him. Did the same thing to Monty Brown, but he was getting over basically by losing. Then he had the great match with Eddie, which honestly I think that March match with Eddie where he got 92 is where I decided to start booking him better. He had the feud with Jeff Jarrett. Then he and Eddie had another great match. Have I just been putting off the feud between him and Eddie for some reason? Interesting. Anyway, then the long feud between him and the Toronto Armor started. So yeah, back in Slamboree, it started, and I guess really back at Russell War, it started at the first part. Because yeah, I mean, you could even say it really started, looks like it started way back in March. So yeah, it continued through July with the Beach Brawl, including Gigantes and Truth. Eventually, Gigantes left the company. Truth fought the U.S. title. Canyon got brought in. And it just kept on going until Halloween Havoc when it blew off after the Cage Modern match. So yeah, that's a long-ass feud that I didn't, I forgot it went that long. And then, that sort of, moved Brother Ray, and, he earned the title shot by defeating Jeff Jarrett, was part of the Triple Threat match, lost the 100 match, and then was sort of, out of sorts, especially after losing to Shane Helms, beat up Ray Lepin, won the challenge, Eric Bischoff gave him the match, and he did the drop, which may lead some, thoughts for him as he moves into 2006. Jack Palumbo, the other guy here, a former world champion. And if we look at his pop wise, let's look at this. So, okay, interesting. Doing the job that AJ actually dropped him to 4 points, which is more than I thought it would. But yeah, he was like really over throughout the year, but like actually less over now than at any point, which is interesting. So like, yeah, I'm guessing 91, 92 is probably his pop cap. I mean, Star Call is 87, so that makes sense. Charisma wise, like again, he is not great in the ring, which just tells you how good he's been otherwise to get like hundreds. Like a guy with these stats, like this is why I always like say it doesn't really matter, like especially in a sports end type fed, which I have. To get 100, you don't need like some super work. You just need something really over who's good, and he's perfectly good. Like he has good psych, he's good charismatic, he has good basics, and he can get through a longish match, which means he can be carried by other people. Obviously he can't be the best guy 100, but he can be like the third best guy 100 and go over. But yeah, obviously, oops, that's the wrong thing. Of course, he ended 2004 by beating his, longtime friend, Sean O'Haire. O'Haire sort of got revenge at Super Brawl, but from there, he beat AJ Styles. He lost to Booker T. He earned the number 1 seed for the Mayhem tournament, lost the Mayhem tournament finals, won the Revolution Royale to earn the title shot, defeated Ray Jr. to win the title, successfully defended it against Ray Jr. again, then beat Palumbo, then beat Goldberg at Halloween Havoc, win the triple threat, and then, of course, lost the title AJ Styles as you expect. But yeah, really good year for him. And honestly, like, I'm perfectly happy with him in his spot as sort of like a top tier heel. Eddie had an interesting year. Like pop wise, he's actually basically where he was at the start of the year. And skill wise, he's still freaking Eddie Guerrero. Like, Like, I disagree with Mike's skills, but also this was like, remember, these were supposed to be stats that started way back when it was 2000 Eddie, who was good, but not like, the insanely great promo guy he became in WWE. So that makes sense, but like he's been really solid despite that. But yeah, like match history, like he had ended the 2004 by losing AJ Styles. Went through the year, he beat El Santo's son. Then he got in the long feud with Eddie Guerrero, which ended with the triple threat match, where RVD kept the title. Or no, he lost the cage heat match against Slamboree. Then he lost to Goldberg. Then eventually he got in the feud with O'Haire, which he had basically went back and forth. Then he started the feud with Jack Evans, which he did the job for. So sort of like not the best year for Eddie, but sort of like I don't say a gatekeeper year, but a year where he was not part of like the main part of the story, but he could always be counted and throw in and have a really great match. Next up is Jack Evans, who of course has been sort of like the shocker of the show. Of the company rather. Yeah. He was already at 79 last year, so he hasn't gone up that much. Just he's sort of like broken through in actual booking, because like at this point last year he was like, I remember, yeah, he was just part of the tag team turmoil. And this year, I mean, he was still basically part of tag team wars, like him and Teddy feuding Direct Divine, then with Ninkio, then with part of the big 4-way aerial assault match. Then he got to the finals of the Mayhem tournament match. Then that's where I sort of threw him into the top tier. He had the weird match where like we're sort of like getting again some back of the show here before Teddy Hart walked away. This was supposed to start the beginning of a breakup angle between Teddy and Evans, where basically what was supposed to happen is most of the same stuff would happen here, including Hart Legacy versus Eddie and Aries, and then the match of Evan and Eddie. But then also what would have happened is Teddy winning the Cruiserweight Championship at Starrcade, and he would take the title for a couple months, and then after he lost it, while Jack was moving up to the main event, Jack would be up wrestling main event stars after Teddy lost the title. Teddy would come in wanting to team up again. Evans would be sort of like, not exactly blow him off, but like in a babyface way, say he didn't want to team anymore, and that would lead to the heel turn, probably a short program, and maybe Teddy as a heel cruiserweight, or maybe that would be the end of his run. But yeah, I mean, interesting year for him. Like, not what I honestly looking back expected. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, now he's like sort of like not quite a top guy, but he could feud with the top guys now. Jeff, who had the very interesting year. Again, pop wise, he started at 85. He's down to an 81, but that's mostly due to a couple drops here in November. But like match history wise, he was, if I remember, yeah, he was already gone by November. So like he had just beat Booker, right? When he got popped for drugs last year, he was out until July. He was actually ready a couple months, like I think a month before that. But I waited for Matt to come in. They win the tag titles. They do some fun matches. They eventually drop the titles, and then he get involved in the feud with Ninkeo. Then it leads to a feud with AMW and the big cage match where they win at Starrcade, and we'll see where they go from there. Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett's again one of the guys who I continually like. I never like deep push him, but I never like push him, and you just always hear being stupidly over. Skills wise, again, like psych wise, he's great. Charisma wise, Mike Term, he's really good. And honestly, pretty great. And match wise, again, he ended 2004 being beat by Booker T. 2005 was less time in the ring, mainly because he's more of a segment guy. But, he beat O'Hare at Shout in the Sun to earn the title shot against RVD. RVD beat him, and then that started a long feud with Brother Ray, including, fighting him at Wrestle War and Slamboree, the big beach brawl match at Bash at the Beach, being part of the big triple threat match at Mayhem after getting knocked out of the Mayhem tournament, eventually losing to Brother Ray, and eventually then that feud eventually moving over to Ken Anderson, where he beat Anderson at Starrcade. Oh, right. I wanted to just do the men. My fault. I'll come back to the females, like women in one shot. Canyon, again, is an interesting spot because I didn't deep push him, but he just never got quite the super push. But he still got more stupidly over. Like, he's still a 90, despite not really being pushed. Skills wise, 100 Mike still. Again, in real life, he was basically retired by now, and now he's, just stupidly over. So much better world, at least for Chris Canyon, if nobody else. So, of course, 2004, he had just done the job to Kidman, coming back. Like, he didn't actually do, he started the feud with Eddie. Feud with Eddie, like I said, had the world title match at Wrestle War, beat Eddie, in the cage heat match that led to another world title match for him at Bash at the Beach. He did the job there, regardless of what the game says. Had a little feud. He was going to fight, Don Fry at Halloween Havoc, but Don Fry got injured, so he beat Jonathan Toro in a makeup match, beat Mike Awesome, and then beat Alex Wright. So, sort of like a year on the upper mid-card for Canyon, upper mid-card / main event scene, as sort of like a gatekeeper role, but still a really good worker, and somebody will be part of, the main event scene, obviously. Kaz. Kaz, again, is somebody who's really interesting, because if we look at it, he was at 64, and now he's at a friggin' 87. And he's just great. Again, going all the way back, last year, Starrcade, he was part of the pre-show Battle Royal, which tells you where he was at. And even, and he was already getting 76s, he's not being really over, but, Ninkeo's, okay, I just want to double check. Yeah, Ninkeo was basically formed in February after a few segments where they see they're building together. So we have the initial push, beating Tajiri and Chavo, going double count out with Heart Legacy, being involved in the 4-way for the tag titles, bunch of fun matches, including its RVD and Ray Jr. at British Assault. Being sort of like the Necro scene, winning the tag titles at Halloween Havoc, drawing him back to AMW, then winning him back at Bound for Glory, and then losing them at the at Starrcade, where Kaz is now doing a 98. So yeah, skill wise, he's great. Flashiness, psych, all the best fundamental skills you could ask for, physical abilities at wazoo. He's ironically much better as a babyface, but I don't really care. He's this good, so why should I care? So yeah, I mean, obviously, him and Yang will be continuing to get pushed, and we'll see what they do now that they've lost the tag belts. Ken Anderson, another guy who's got just a stupidly big push this year. Like, yeah, he was 34 at the beginning of the year. Now he's like part of the main event scene. Was he even like? Yeah, okay. He had basically just debuted back in he had debuted sort of like back in July, doing some random matches, but he's not really part of the show big time. He's part of the pre-show battle royal, and even like he was still. I don't say he didn't really have a storyline, but yeah, he was basically just on Saturday night running some random matches between Keenan and Sharp. Yeah, I'm looking like his first. I mean, yeah, him and Keenan Sharp had a feud where it was basically Anderson beating Keenan Sharp 3 times in a row. I'm assuming that was Keenan Sharp offering to put him over, which is the only way I think I would do that book. Anyway, then he sort of like had matches to get over. Had a match versus Jamie Noble to get the win. Let's see here. Then he won the TV title. Was doing that part with the big 4-way at Bound for Glory. Then had the feud with Jarrett. So yeah, I mean Anderson should have a really big 2006 unless he screws things up like he did in real life. Monty Brown. Monty's interesting because like skill wise, like he's actually pretty solid, like and actually probably better than he was in real life. Star quality's a little low. Brawling, not the best worker, but he's really good. Like he's really solid. And pop wise, despite not having I don't think the best year, like he fell off 4 points because I think he did the job at Starcade, right? Right, yeah, he did the job at Starcade, so that hurt him. But overall, I think he's solid. So yeah, I mean, he sort of like had the year, he beat Brother Ray at Super Brawl. He had the world title shot at Rising Sun Revolution. Then was part of the 4-way match for the, part of sort of like the top tier feuding on Revolution involving RVD, AJ, Chuck Palumbo, all those folks. Lost the 4-way Great American Bash. Was part of the, got to the finals of the main tournament. Then got the, was part of the 4-way for the Starcade title shot on the line. Then got involved in the number one contendership match with Rizzo Hair Truth. Lost that. And I have a plan for Monty Brown in 2006. That's all I'm going to say. Morningstar. Daniels had a very weird year for him because he was involved in that, involved in Deadpool feud. So, in the feud with Raven and everybody. So yeah, like he actually is a little more over than I thought, which is actually kind of interesting. Skill-wise, I mean, he's still great. It's Christopher Daniels in 2006. What do you expect? Sort of injury prone, which I didn't notice, all things considered. But match history-wise, yeah, he only had 19 matches this year. Because lots and lots of segments. Lots of segments, a lot of wacky stuff, what can you do? But yeah, I mean, it's basically all, as you can see, Raven, Messiah, Seekers of Sin versus Kai Graves against Kai Graves. Then the big War Games match against Raven's Nest, doing the job there. Having to team with, Ben being as part of Evolution, beating Evolution at Starcade for Tag Team Memorial, Raven telling him to lay down, and then him finally walking out. And that's part of a longer storyline. Paul London's, again, one of the guys I'm actually like most proud of is how I've sort of booked him to be sort of a top tier guy without like sort of realistically, like, again, if you like just bringing your favorite indie guys and putting over the top guys right away, that's fine. Like if you're somebody who wants Mojo and AJ and Daniels all at the top of your WCW in 2002, more power to you. This is just a game, so I'm not going to judge everybody. But this is what I like to do. I like to build people up like legitimately, But yeah, skills wise, he's never going to be the best guy on the mic, which is probably why he's never going to be a top tier guy. But he's really good in the ring, which means he can, be a 17 zillion time, U.S. title guy or tag title guy eventually. Because he's only 25, so who knows? Match history, he went 500 a year because he was always the guy I could have one of my top heels beat before they got a world title shot against RVD early in the year, or later on. So yeah, Kidman beat him. Then he had a match against Cash. Then he, beat RVD at Mayhem as RVD was in the middle of his heel turn. RVD got the win against him. Led to the world title match eventually. After he won the 4-way. But yeah, and then, that led to him, challenging Jinder for the U.S. title. So interesting year, like, because last year was part of the pre-show battle royal, which I honestly forgot about. I guess that makes sense because he had been part of big stuff, but he was never like a top tier guy. So this is top. This helped him break into the top tier with the split and everything. Then there's Ray. Ray, you win your main event, and oh right, I forgot. Ray went to a lightweight. Did I ask? I don't think I asked him to do that. Anyway, I mean it's Ray Jr. Like, he's stupidly over. He's Ray fucking Mysterio Jr. 2006. Honestly, probably his peak in ways as far as like being over in real life. But yeah, like, I mean, just look at these stats, folks. Just look at them. Again, never going to be the best guy on the mic. Charisma, star quality, and even now, like, he got the big pops in the feud with Dominic because he was like the father singing up to his shitty son, not because they were great mic skills, Anyway, match history wise, I mean, really solid year. Had the world title match, against RVD early on, then was teaming with AJ against Awesome Storm and Booker T and Columbo. I forgot, was I doing that? I think that was just sort of like the main event scene at the time. Lost to Kidman at Rising Sun Revolution. Eventually won the title off him after he was feuding sort of like the top of the main event there. Well, with Monty Brown, Chuck Palumbo, AJ, Triumvirate, everybody else. Won the world title, then dropped it to Palumbo, and led to the feud with RVD, which involved him doing the job twice to Rob Van Dam, which I'm sure the internet would not have liked at the time, but it is what it is. Again, like, he's RVD, he's always going to be super over because he's Rob, because he's Rey Mysterio Jr. Maybe I might do a slight tweak to his gimmick or something, but we'll just have to see about that. Rob Van Dam, interesting year for him. So, skills-wise, he's great. And actually, I did not realize his brawling was this high. This actually gives me an idea for next year. He's a former soft drug user, which is interesting. I highly doubt RVD ever quit the old weed. But yeah, I mean, he's actually like really good in ring, which I always forget. But yeah, Charisma 89, Star Quality 88, Microphone 81. I mean, you could argue I should have just kept him as my top guy and not actually ever push anybody else, and you have a perfectly valid argument for that. Pop wise, he's basically been what he is for the year. That's probably his pop cap. And yeah, match history wise, of course, he was world champion going into the year. He beat Jarrett at Super Brawl. Oops. That's a pay-per-view, not that. He beat Helms in the rematch at Showdown Sun. Beat Jarrett at Super Brawl. Beat Monty Brown at Rising Sun Revolution. Beat Eddie and Canyon at Wrestle War. Then got sort of screwed out of the title against Kidman. Kidman then beat him in the rematch in 2 out of 3 falls a match at Slamboree. He was part of the 4-way where, of course, he lost the pinfall, so he's not part of the Mayhem tournament. That led to the heel turn, including the sort of like, the Rob Van Dam Invitational, leading to the match with Paul London. London beats him at Mayhem. Then RVD gets a rematch win at Fall Brawl, and that leads to the feud with Ray Jr., where he gets the 2 big wins. And yeah, I mean, he's honestly like maybe, you could argue he's probably our top actual heel, especially with Van Dam having Heyman around, but we'll just have to see how that all goes. Then the Truth. Truth is another guy I'm actually proud and actually sort of shocked how quickly he's gotten over. Because again, after he came over from WWE, he was at 54 and now he's at an 85. Because like he has again, looking at his skills real quick, he has really good charisma, really good mic, and so just lots and lots of segments and decent enough matches. Yeah, if we go to go over to his debut. He got the U.S. title. He basically showed up, right? I always forget if he showed up at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. Right, okay. Interesting. Weird stuff. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, so he basically came in, got the U.S. title shot. Then, interesting little, I never realized I gave him Prince of Say a win over him. I guess that they were similar. Anyway, a little bit of feud. Then eventually he had the long world TV title run, which helped him get over. He dropped the title to Lance Storm. Then he was part of the feud with the rest of with Brother Ray and Gigantes against the Chosen Few. Eventually, that built him being part of the Beach Brawl. Then him being part of the Mayhem tournament, where he got into the quarterfinals, I believe. yeah, where he lost to AJ Styles. Then he beat Mike Awesome for the U.S. title on a Nitro. Kept that title for a bit, dropped the title back to Mark Jindrak, and then then was part of the number one contendership match. Again, not the guy you'd expect to be part of sort of like the main event part picture, but like he's right at the fringes there. What's major star? Let's see here. The wrestler is. I just want to double check. Okay, yeah, he's not here. Then if we go down to stars, which I think there are less of. Yeah, there's only like 8 of you guys. So Cash is somebody who had like an interesting year pop wise. Yeah, he's basically where he was at last year. Biggest news of this year is he had a affair with Lita, who of course was with Triple H. Now Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, and Scott Hall all hate him. So hey, Cash, you're sort of stuck here because everybody in WWE, and well, for reasons I'll get into later, Impact all hate him. But yeah, match wise, I mean, he was the very definition of a jobber to the stars. Like, look at the people he did job twos throughout the year. Alex Wright, Rob Van Dam, Kenny Anderson, Paul London, Kenny Anderson again, Booker T. Like, he was basically just a pure jobber to the stars, and I gave him the occasional win over guys like, I guess the start of the year, Kenny Anderson made sense, but like guys like Sandman, Malenko, Shelton Benjamin when he's first starting out. But yeah, and I have an idea from next year, but like that's sort of like, he was sort of very much our gatekeeper. Like, he was really good he could have really good matches, and, he's fine doing jobs. Chavo. What can I say about Chavo? One of our few guys on the roster who have cool momentum, and yeah, he's still, okay. Thing about Chavo is he's still stupidly good in the ring. Like, he's not doing this because he's not good anymore. Like, everything here is really good. I'm just honestly under pushing him. Like, you could really give an argument to that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he was throwing out 90s teaming with, like, Kanan against, I think he had, like, an 86 against his Eddie. But yeah, after Super Bowl, like, Ninkeo beat them, and then, like, he just sort of was in, he teamed with Jiri for a while, then Alex Wright turned on him, he did the job there, then he was part of the Battle Royal. Like, he really didn't have much of the year. Like, he had one great match against, like, this was sort of like the match maybe I should have figured out, oh hey, Chavo's still really good, after he, I don't say randomly got the match, but sort of randomly got the match at Bash at the Beach. But yeah, so Chavo, actually, I might have to note that to myself, that actually pushed Chavo next year, because he's still really good, Again, this is, part of the show, even with 2 shows, there's only so much time on TV. Speaking of people who maybe was hurt by TV time, Jamie Noble, who is honestly just as good as Chavo, if not better. Pop-wise, he's currently TV champion, so he's doing something. It's about the same where he is, at the start of the year. And, just sort of had a year. Like, if you notice, he only had, let's see here, 5 pay-per-view matches. I mean, which isn't actually that bad. But, like, he had the title for the, the U.S. title. And, if you notice, like, at the start of the year, lots and lots of single match wins. Then he did the job of the Truth. He was he lost to Anderson. And then that's where he started really doing lots of jobs. Keith Walker beat him and started their little mini feud. And yeah, then he was gone after that for a couple months. He came back, and let's just say I have ideas for him now that he's TV champion. Like, there's a reason why he was the guy who I gave the TV championship to. Jonathan Toro. Yeah. This is what happens when a gimmick that just doesn't work. So yeah, if you notice, like, Roman Legion, I was still pushing them. Like, he even had the U.S. title match, but then he, kept the U.S. title match. He lost Alex Wright. He was still feuding, but what really killed him for me is he had the feud with O'Hare, but they had bad chemistry. So, they had their little feud, had them blow off at Slamboree, and then he was just gone for a while. He returned back in, like, he lost the title, he lost the Gladiator match to O'Hare at Slamboree. He left for a while. He came back in August to do the job to Evans as part of the Mayhem tournament. He came back as the sort of mystery opponent for Toro after Don Fry was out. And then he did some jobs on TV, and I have an idea for him for the new year, which some people may like, some people may hate, but it's time for a reimagining for him. Matt Hardy. Hardy came in, of course, as part of. Let's do WCW only, because yeah. He came in, won the world tag titles with his brother, and just basically with Jeff, except slightly worse. Like, he's not quite as good as Jeff, obviously, because Jeff Hardy's Jeff Hardy, he's Matt Hardy. But, he's decently charisma microphone, and that's probably a little overrated in my mind. But, he's still really good. Honestly, he already had his breakup with Lita, so he's not going crazy. And we'll just see how this goes. Like, again, I'm probably never going to do a Hardy feud just because, like, in real life it worked badly, and it would depend on Jeff Hardy babyface promos, which would not what you need. But yeah, I don't know. Then Raven. Okay, so Raven's interesting because, again, pop-wise, he came in at the start of the year, up actually pretty decently. Fringe main event guy. And skill-wise, I mean, it's Raven in 2006. He's a former hard drug user, which, again, I question. Lots of injuries, unfortunately. Like, he's still good at hardcore, and he's still a decent brawler, and still good at on the mic and everything. But everything else is sort of questionable, which is sort of using him out of the ring. If you look at, if you look at his match history, basically, like, he showed up, he went after Deadpool, he defeated Morningstar, then he lost to Macias, brought in, turned Macias to his side, began the feud with Morningstar, brought in the Prophet, then that feud continued, all through the summer, had the big War Games match, then, had the attempt to go over, basically then partnered with Macias as part of Tag Team Royal, Dark Team Benjamin built him, and now it's on to the new year and what I'm going to do with him. And you'll have to see what as far as that goes. I might also risk a gimmick change for him as well. Shelton's, again, came in from WWE. And let's see here. I always forget when I bring people in. So WCW, yeah, he came in July. So pop-wise. So yeah. It's big jumps in basically everything just because he was consistently on TV. And also because Shelton Benjamin, and he's really freaking good, But yeah, WCW, brought in, basically got some early wins, sort of underdog wins, again, team with Booker. Let me actually see here. Also involving Booker. So yeah, basically once he was with Booker, he started winning. Let's see, his losses with Booker are basically part of a battle royal, which doesn't count, and one 6-man loss, and a loss as part of an 8-man tag. But yeah, outside of that, tag team champions and a bright future for Shelton eventually as we look toward the new year. Somebody Johnny Vine is somebody who's, ironically, despite being really more over than he was in real life, I'm probably under pushing him a bit because he's actually really good in the ring. Not good at all mic skills wise, but like he might be somebody who might work better in the cruiserweight division. But he's basically been either part of 6-mans or tag teams. Like, let me see here. The only singles matches he had this year was a one against James Storm to set up a world tag title match, a job to Brother Ray, and a job to The Truth, who was also setting up basically a tag match, and a random TV title match, which was setting up the other time, and a random Hardy Boys match. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, that's basically, like, his job was either team with Jeff Jarrett or Mark Jindrak, and that was that. But yeah, I mean, perfectly solid, really good guy. Depends, not sure what else he'll do here. Then there's Sting. Sting's still here as a active wrestler because he hasn't officially retired, but he's basically going into very part-time worker mode. Like, he's already there, again, like, he's been in that way for a while. Like, he was there a lot. This, he basically he was gone from that November all the way to the next summer. He basically didn't wrestle again he didn't wrestle again until he came back for a little run in summer, then came back for the run for the tag titles, and then he basically was here for a couple shocking matches. So his year this year was basically he had the match against Hashimoto at the Japanese show. He came back as a shock partner for Paul London against Kidman and Storm, had the match against Kidman for the non-title match. This was a match where basically the Triumvirate killed him, knocked him out, He came back for sort of a non-canon show, where he teamed with Evolution to take on Tolan Welcome Toro, and then he came back for a post-show match, goodbye match, where him and Goldberg beat up Osei and Skipper. So that was the year in ring. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. He was basically the special troubleshooter for the War Games match with the Deadpool in the Nest. But yeah, I mean, he's still he's still Sting, so he's still stupidly over. And even in ring stuff, he's not terrible yet. He's not great, and he's probably worse than he is now, even though, interesting that he can do crazy bumps but not stump bumps. I don't know. I do think I can probably use him a little bit more, but also what matches do I really need to do him for? I'm sure there's stuff that I haven't done yet that I could do, but it would have to be something special, Oops, didn't mean to do that. And I think this is where our friend, Don Fry, currently injured, also an occasional wrestler. Pop-wise, came in at the start of this year, 83 down to an 81. And if you look at his match history, basically he beat up a bunch of jobbers, and basically his job was to sort of put over other guys as tough guys. He came in, beat some jobbers, beat Goldberg at Wrestle War, then did the job to Goldberg, came in, beat up Great Suzuki, Sean O'Haire beat him, he beat up Alex Wright, he beat Goldberg, beat him on Nitro, and then he was setting up a feud with Kanyon when he got injured in this 10-man tag. But he'll be back in a couple weeks, so we'll see what he does then. His contract, I believe, is, he has another year on his contract. So we'll see what I actually do with him. Now, moving on to recognizables. All right, so Blaster Lashley, aka Bobby Lashley, aka a guy who made his debut on regular TV this year and is still not that great. It's Bobby Lashley. He'll be around forever, which is a good thing, but also he's this is not the Bobby Lashley of today. This is the Bobby Lashley who is a very work in progress and probably getting overpushed in real life at this point. But, now he's part of a tag team with Claudio, getting managed by Rob Van Dam, and he's just, learning how to work. Overall, you can basically see, showed up on TV in July and is now a perfectly solidly over wrestler. Was basically part of the tag team with Claudio, lost at Starrcade, really, they ever actually have a title match? No, they did not. So they haven't even had a tag title match. Lots of squash wins on Saturday night to try to help his skills out. A very weird year, but he's getting there. I could totally see him having a main event pitcher scene in a year or two. Claudio, same thing. Claudio's obviously a more complete worker, but also, him and Queen Maya broke up. Pop-wise, again, he's getting there, slowly but surely. And I could easily see him getting, a more main event push before Lashley. But also, honestly, that charisma microphone is probably better than it should be. Again, I know people like Claudio, but let's be honest, he was never the best guy on the mic, regardless of what people think. He was never Jason Statham. He was always the third guy Jason Statham beats up as part of a movie, if we're all being honest with each other. But yeah, he's still really solid and could be something. Jason Jett was basically the Nitro version of Kid Cash. He came in, he had some feud at the start of the year, including a feud with The Truth for the TV title, and was even kind of part of a main event feud. But then he was just basically, he beat job guys, and he lost to guys that matter, like Alex Wright, John Hare, Kanyon. He beat Alex Wright here, which I'm sure is part of the storyline. But yeah, Kanyon then beat him, Goldberg, Brother Ray, Macias, Evans. You can see sort of what I decided to do with him by the end of the year. But again, I have an idea for him in the new year, because he's still decently over. Johnny Swinger, former Swinger Pompanius. I have an idea for him. I just haven't had the opportunity to rebuild it. If you noticed, the Roman Legionnaires were done as far as, basically the fall. He came back on Saturday night as Johnny Swinger, and I have an idea for him in the new year. I just have to figure it out, because he's still decent. AKA his psych is great, which is freaking great for a guy at 30, but everything else is sort of meh. So I'll have to see if I do anything with him, or if I eventually let him leave, because his contract is up in 5 months. So yeah, I mean he'll be somebody I make a decision on in a couple of months here. Kai Graves, a regen, and honestly a really good regen, like good psych, good star quality, good menace. Everything else is sort of meh, but I never really had the time to build him up. Like, you know, he basically showed up on TV, and then he was in like wacky 6-man tags or as part of the main event feud. So of course, Deadpool lost. Him and Killswitch Wrathchild refused to kneel, so they went off TV. But like he's still under contract for another year, so I'll have to see what I do with him as far as that goes. Keith Walker is an interesting story. So Walker is actually better in the ring than I thought. He just has like no charisma, no mic skills, and also, honestly, his like in-game picture really made me think of him. Like then I found another picture of him where he looks better. You sort of see in previews, and honestly, that's sort of why I decided to actually maybe push him a little bit more. He looks more like a star. Like he has his whole deal with Tori Wilson never really worked the way I thought it was. And then, Tori's no longer part of the company because he signed with WWE. So the whole blow off, like basically the blow off where King Sharp like pushed him down will probably just be the end of it. Like I'd probably just write that off. Oh right, yeah. Where is? Hold on. Hold on. Did I miss somebody? Oh, sorry. No, wait. Now I'm confused. Hold on. Oh, okay. That's dumb. I'm sorry. I somehow completely skipped over stars. I went from major stars to well knowns. I do not know how I did that. Okay. Well, I'm sure somebody will laugh at me for that. Anyway, so let's get back to. Okay, yeah, I was wondering why I totally missed those guys. Okay, see, this is what happens when you aren't paying attention to looks. Anyway, back to the stars. So I have Chris Storm, Harrison, James Storm. We're basically the same guy still at this point. Like, like, like Storm's slightly better, but not as much as you'd think. Um, But yeah, like match history, obviously they've been basically all together. Like some tag matches, but sort of like I've already told the story of these guys, and there's one of my most well-known tag teams. They're the core of the tag team division, and they'll be part of it for a while now. So that's sort of that. Keaton Sharp has had an interesting year. Basically because I didn't want to push him to a main event segment, line. So like I sort of jobbed him to keep him like getting too over, but he's still stupidly over despite that. Um, you know, he sort of had a mini year, as you can see by his TV time. Like he sort of lots of matches in Revolution, lots of like random tag matches. Like probably his biggest match was his win versus Rob Van Dam, which is probably part of like his RVD's heel term, because AJ beat him at Evolution in his best match. And yeah, I mean he only had the match against Anderson at Rising Sun Revolution, and at match at British Assault, which doesn't really count as a pay-per-view, and the Battle Royal at Starrcade as his only pay-per-view match. So he was basically only wrestling on TV, and was basically slightly under 500, and probably under 500 in AKA competitive matches. Lance Storm. Storm's another one of those guys who I should probably push more. Like, because yeah, again, start of the year, end of the year, Paul London, Lance Storm, had a 91. And even at the start of the year, if we go to this match, Lance Storm, 81. He's just a fantastic worker. And again, I probably want, basically by going over everybody else's feud, including Kidman's, whatever Kidman's doing, title matches with awesome TV title run. I sort of gone over it all, and sort of like he has, interesting decision to make based on what happens in the year with him. Mark Jindrak, interesting year for him as well. Again, he's not the best guy. He has good psychology, and kind of that's it, like some star quality and sex appeal. But that's enough to have him at a 75, which I'm 90% sure is pop cap. There's another guy I might ask to gain some weight or maybe do a gimmick change. But yeah, same thing as basically the rest of the Chosen feud, like sort of random feuds in the winter, tag title match, lost that. Then the feud started with Brother Ray. That lasted through basically the fall and the summer. Then he got a U.S. title shot, and he beat Truth for it, held it till Starrcade, where he dropped the title in London. Nothing fancy here, just sort of a really solid mid-card, upper mid-card year. Macias. How I massacred my boy. I mean, honestly, I kind of did. Like, yeah, not the best year for him. I mean, sort of like being as part, like, he's annoyed for good reason because he's been part of this, like, Deadpool feud for basically forever. And, you know, it's basically either a squash, a wacky tag match, or a wacky six-man match, or a long segment. So, yeah, I mean, not the best year for him. So I can totally see why he's upset with me. But don't worry, I have plans for him in the new year. Sean O'Hare. So, O'Hare's somebody who I think if I would actually test him would get popped for drugs or something, because his skills are falling at a rate. Well, okay, these skills are actually. So why did I think what skills were that were falling precipitously? Oh right, yeah, star quality is dropping like a rock. As is stamina, athleticism. So yeah. So that stuff is sort of like telling me not so sure about like his long term, but I had a owner's goal to keep him pushed, so that's why I kept him around. But yeah, star quality 70 with an okay wrestler. Like he's probably not gonna have the year he did. There was a time when I thought maybe he could be the top guy, at least like in the short run. But yeah, he's not going to be that guy anymore. Like he had a good year this year. Feud with Eddie, feud with Jarrett to start the year. Little feud with Toro, which was brought down by them having bad chemistry. Then the feud for the match for the number one contendership, and he has like a title shot coming up, soon. But we'll see what happens after that. Then we got Shane Helms. Helms, of course, was the world champion to end the year before he dropped the title at Starrcade to Van Dam. And pop-wise, he's somebody else who probably has a pop cap because he's sort of been there. Honestly, really built back quickly. Like, he did some jobs in October, November, which really hurt him, but built up pretty quickly. And, he's had an interesting year. So, like, after he dropped the title, he had a little, basically teamed with Tomko and got a title shot for the titles pretty quickly. Was part of that for a while. Got another title shot against Hardy Boys at Bash at the Beach in a really good match. Try to get to the part of the main tournament, got his quarterfinals, did the drop to Evans, battled again, and then eventually went after Bill Goldberg, and then the job to him at Starrcade. Not the most exciting year, but not the worst year ever. Now we can go over to the recognizables. Sorry about that, folks. I totally screwed that up. Let's see here. Killswitch and Rothschild, again, are two guys. So the interesting thing is, like, Killswitch is a little better in ring, but Rothschild is a little better, like, overall stats and a better look, in my view. So it's interesting to see what we might be able to do with these guys. But yeah, I mean, basically, their WCW run was sort of a middle run. Like, they're basically the job guys for the Deadpool, and we'll see if I figure out something to do for them. They have another 2 years, but I can probably easily let them go at some point. So it just decides what I decide to do. Prince Osei. Osei is an interesting guy because he has good skills. He has honestly underrated charisma mic skills. He's by the game. And pop wise, like, he's been sort of stuck. Like, he's actually dropped a bit because honestly, I've been doing lots of jobbing of him. So he's somebody who I might have to, like, think about, like, actually pushing next year pretty strongly. And honestly, maybe redoing his gimmick because honestly, Vic Royalty gimmick is getting a little past its, like, due date, and also I don't know how much I actually like doing it anymore. Like, he's not terrible, but he's never going to be like a top guy. But we'll see what he can do with him. Rilapin, he's only team with Tomko basically the whole, not Reno, but Tomko. And the thing is, like, these two guys are about the same, like, in ring, give or take. Oops. But Lepin's a little better, which is I'm sort of happy that Tank's the one that got injured, because as a team they're like sort of just hanging out in the mid card, like not doing a ton. Let me look at Like, if I do, like, yeah. With Toland, he was 11 and 10, so basically perfectly 500. So that gives, hold on. So outside of that, like, yeah, he was a little better, 6 and 4. And same thing with Toland. Like, these are two guys who I can easily see doing something with in the new year, or I can see, like, falling by the wayside. Toland actually fell off a bit, which I guess makes sense because he was a little bit too much over in the Southeast because of his past with his dev fed. Yeah, Lepin is somebody who's, like, grown. Reno, honestly, Reno is somebody who I'm just playing out their contract. Because in real life, by this time, he was out of wrestling. And honestly, I didn't have really anything to do for him. Like, him and Cash having chemistry is what saved him, like, basically having a job in this far. And after I did the split with them, like, there was no reason to have them around. And that's why he got basically 0 wins. Like, he got 1 squash win when I thought maybe I was going to, when I was basically setting up him and Reno. So basically 2 things that have killed Reno this not having a lot to do with him, and Gigante's not having positive chemistry. They didn't have negative chemistry, but they didn't have positive chemistry either, and that sort of killed my idea of them as like sort of an ass-kicking face team. So yeah, that was them. So they eventually did the job of Season Morningstar, and that was the end of that tag team. And then it was just him, Reno, showing up every month or so to do a job to a top tier guy. And that's probably what's going to be the continuation of him. Like, he has a good gimmick and not terrible skills, but like, I really don't have anything really to do with him. Like, but yeah. Moving on, Teddy Hart. He is currently like, basically holding out, even though he has a contract with, even though he's currently with Lexi James, which I forgot about. And like, here's the thing, he's really good. He's also Teddy Hart. He doesn't cause he's obviously angry, which is why he's probably, like, upset at me. Yeah, I just hear that. That's what I thought. But he's 93 star quality, which honestly I think is too high. And like, he's like, I went over the Hart Legacies year. Like, it's not a terrible year, but I'm perfectly happy keeping him under contract for a year so he doesn't go to the competition. Let's see here. Titus Tomko, your friend and mine. So of course, Tomko came in as part of WCW and as part of your friend of mine's, Shane Helms' partner. He got a couple squash wins on TV at first. Then, was part of a tag team with Shane Helms, and that's basically was his beginning of the year. He got another squash win during the end of the year, had a big match against Goldberg, and then that was that. Like, But here's the thing, like, he's solidly over, and he has a decent look and some star quality. So, like, unlike Reno, like, or Gigantes, he's not totally lost. So I have some stuff to do with him for the new year. Tony Santarelli, aka Romy Rossi's friend, who's rudely more over than he is now. Yeah, I guess he came in a little about as over, but yeah. He's a solid wrestler. He's managed by Cookie. He came in as part of Jim Tan Wrestling, and I don't know. Like, I might do something with him, or he might fall by the wayside. It depends on how well Jim Tan Wrestling do as a team. Tajiri's somebody I feel bad about, because he's still really good in the ring. Like, it's, he's not as great, but, like, look how I massacred. Like, he was a perfectly solid upper mid-carder, and now he's, like, almost a job guy. Contract has basically a year left. But yeah, basically, he was 4-16 this year. Like, he was, like, the face version of Jet and Cash, only I really hurt him even more. And, like, I think there's something to do with him next year, but he might be somebody who I eventually let go, just to see if there's nothing else with him to do. Yang was sort of my, he was the 34th star of the year, and now he's at least quasi-over, as you can see, this entire year was basically him teaming up as part of Ninkyo or winning matches on Saturday night. Like, he was, look, every 2 weeks, Saturday night, he was beating a jobber on TV, even if it didn't really matter. Actually, I'm actually wondering something. Let me just check something. Is he more over in... Not really. Okay. But yeah, I at least got him up over to where he deserves, because he's a solid wrestler, good psych, good technical aerial flashiness, and he's like playing a good character along with Cass at the moment. And now for the fun part of the evening, your unimportant people. So, yeah, I mean, these guys, like, Ares is somebody relatively new. I mean, not super new, but somebody who I'm, like, building up. Part of the Cruiserweight division. Next year will be more important for him. Malenko's on the downside. I think, yeah, he has, like, 6 months left. I probably won't renew him as a wrestler. I might bring him in as a road agent. He's a skipper, former Cruiserweight champion. Didn't have the best year, honestly. But I think I can rebuild him because he has a legendary gimmick. He's really good in ring. And I think, again, part of the thing I have to remember to do is put guys like him, Ares, Osei in matches with like mid card or upper mid card guys, because them just wrestling each other will never actually get them over. Great Suzuki is somebody who I had big plans with. Then I didn't realize he was working most pay-per-views. So it is what it is. He's a perfectly good wrestler, but like, yeah, I might actually let him go at some point, just because like I don't want to like just keep him around and job him. Akuto Hadaka is another guy who's working a lot more overseas, but he's a solid worker and he has a good gimmick, so I might keep him around just again as a sort of like part of the cruise division until I bring in more people. Jerry Lynn, same thing. Cruiserweight guy, pushed him a little more when he first came in. In that initial like push against like feuding with he came in, had the match against RVD, and that was basically the height of his career here. Matt Seidel, again somebody else who I brought in, and I'll be honest, I have not like pushed the best. Maverick Chance, he's somebody else who I'm going to try to see if I get him over enough. He has a good gimmick. I'm going to see if that helps him out as I push him a little bit more. Reckless Roberts, really long Cruiserweight title reign, but unfortunately it did not. He started like stupidly on over. So even though he's like a little more over in some places, he's not quite there yet. Romy Rossi, again, was part of the Roman Legion, left that, started a little mini angle where he's like, hooking up with all the managers, led to a partnership with Roberts, turned on Roberts to get a title shot, and then created Gym Team Wrestling. Okay, here. And then we're getting to the true jobbers. Shannon Moore, Sean Stasiak. Sean Stasiak, I don't think, he did a bunch of jobs on Saturday night, and that was his basically year. When the hell did he... Okay, so he got a win on Saturday. Okay, I'm surprised I gave him 2 wins. Okay, I am actually shocked I gave him 2 wins for a year. I mean, he is literally somebody who's just around because I thought maybe the last time I sent him for a contract extension, there'd be something for him, but there's nothing. And then Sonny Siaki, somebody who was sort of honestly, he was somebody who was lost because my Revolution show, because the women didn't have a great mid card, so there wasn't anybody from to really feud with, except for there's basically the top guys, the tag guys, and then all the underneath guys, and there was no really for him to feud with. So sort of he had a little mini feud with Booker T, but that never really got going. But hopefully I'll have something to do for him in this year. Profit, honestly, again, somebody who once I found a better pitcher for him is somebody who I got more into a little more. Trevor Slater, somebody who I have some plans for in the new year. Again, total jobber at the moment, but I have an idea for him. Had that little mini angle with him named Weber, but I just fell apart because I don't know. I just couldn't think of enough wacky segments for him, honestly. So yeah, that's for the men roster. Again, some wins, some losses, some in betweens. It is what it is. Then if we go to the women. Okay, female wrestler. All right, so we start out with, well, here, I'll just actually go the same way. Any perceptions? Or do we have any major stars? Okay, so we have actually 3 major stars who are women. Shockers of shockers, I know. So starting with Joni Lawler, who's, again, very solid, worker. Not the greatest stats, but she can get carried. Has okay psychology, great charisma, great microphone. Everything else is great. Her and, unfortunately, she and Chewie Guerrero broke up, so, too bad for her. Yeah, match history-wise, remember, she came in and just, got stupidly over as Canyon's bodyguard, and then, honestly, I've been slowly sucking out that popularity for the last 2 years. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, because, I don't know. Again, she went 7-9 this year, But like if you look at her losses, she lost to Gail Kim, she lost to Trisha Sky, then she lost to Nikita Colt, and she lost to Gail Kim again. Then she lost the 4-way. As far as singles wins or singles or title matches. And she had very solid matches throughout the year. It's just part of that main event picture, that little mini feud with her and ODB against Gail Kim and Ella Danger. But it is what it is. She has 2.5 years on her contract. I don't know if I'm going to keep her for that whole contract. I might, I don't know. But I don't want to drop people out because there's no reason to. Then we got Nikita Colt, who of course is our current women's champion, and who's great, and who I've pushed to the moon this year. Ice and Veins, legendary gimmick. Really good in ring. Solid on the mic. Good sex appeal, good star quality. And at the start of this year, she was getting 63s, and then, she was getting 88s at the start of this year. Really good year, long women's tag title reign, basically, before this year, they showed up and, basically, was feuding with people, on the undercard, was part of the first women's War Games, won the Women's World Tag titles at Rising Sun Revolution, defending those titles, was part of her, eventually was dealing with kind of, the secondary story, eventually took on, part of the second Women's War Games at Fall Brawl, feuded with Trisha Sky and Joni Lawler, Nikita beat Joni Lawler, then, Nikita won the title, and then kept the title at Starrcade. So, really big push for her. Trisha Sky, women's ace, legendary gimmick. I've gotten really lucky with gimmicks. As bad as luck as I've had with chemistry, I've just good gimmick with gimmicks. But here's the thing. Trisha is not a great in-ring wrestler, but she's really over. She has lots of charisma. She has insane star quality, and she's Trish Stratus in 2006. To put it bluntly, pop-wise, she was stupidly over in spring. She's only slightly less stupidly over now, but she's had a solid year. And again, she won a 500 record, but again, the reason why all the top women have 500 records is basically all fought each other this year. There's no squash matches for these girls really. Let's see here. Stars, Gail Kim. Gail's honestly probably our most well-rounded worker because she's good in ring, good microphone, good star quality. Actually a little bit more over than I expected at the start of the year. But like everybody else, she's has another legendary gimmick and she's had a 500 record just like everybody else. And that's sort of the top women's roster. It's just those 4 women basically kicking the shit out of each other for the past year. Then we go down to well-known. We have Celine Cartier, who's sort of the one woman I'm really proud of building up here. Because, Gail Kim comes in sort of not well-known, but sort of well-known in real life. Trish, Joni, I guess Nikita is sort of not as well-known, but Celine Cartier really, because, she's really good in the ring, and, she's, probably our best pure in-ring worker, you could maybe argue. Not as quite as good, as far as, mic skills. But, pop-wise, she's there. She's been built up. And she's had a solid year, sort of stuck on the undercard. She started the year feuding with Captivation, going through things, winning matches, but winning sort of the undercard matches, but then losing the big matches. Lost, had the little mini feud with Gail Kim for the Women's World Championship. Then through the summer, teamed with all that Alyssa Alexander and feuding with Gail Kim and Ally Danger. Sort of, kind of lost that feud, then moved on to something else, and then was as part of the 10-man women tag at Starrcade. Lost the Women's World Tag match, got tagged by Captivation, helped out the tag champs, and there we are. I, again, have some plans for her. We'll see what she does. And we got Recognizable, and this is where a lot of our other women are. So Angel Fox, who of course started the year as part of Captivation, got turned on by Captivation, and is now a babyface. Again, very solid in-ring worker for the current real-life Angelina Love. Pop-wise, she's sort of, been dead steady. And match history-wise, actually, a lot more wins and losses. She got the couple big wins. Got some wins on, TV. feud with, of course, the social scene. Eventually got turned on at Fall Brawl, turned face. Never has had the sort of blow off match against a Captivation. Like, she's beat Lexi James, she's Desiree Dawkins, but she's never actually had Lizzie Dumas in a 1-1 match, which is something I actually didn't realize. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, I mean, she's solid in ring, good star quality. She's Angelina Love, so, she has that going for her. So she's somebody else who should probably get a solid push. Annie Vidal, aka Annie Social. And again, she's somebody else who was really helped by a run in our dev territory. And she's now the thing is, our top tier of a roster never was in our dev fed, so they're sort of stuck with the skills they had as real life, maybe a little bit better because they've had time in ring, more time in ring than they did in real life, but sort of like pop caps, sort of caps with that. But all of our territory from dev women, they had weeks and weeks of wrestling, sort of to get better at it. So even if they don't have quite the charisma or the mic skills, they have this going for them, because in real life, this woman, who's probably a great person, is not this good a wrestler. But in this universe, she is. So here she is getting a good push. Current women's world tag team champion. As you can see, this is where she showed up on TV, and now she's not quite a push, but she's getting there. And yeah. Showed up in the spring with her partner, part of Social Scene, and they've gotten a pretty decent, push. She's done some jobs on TV, but they eventually won the Women's World Tag titles at Revolution in September, defended the titles, and, perfectly solid, year for them. Lexi James, aka Mickey James, aka somebody who might not quite get the push they got in real life because they don't stand out quite as much, because in real life, Mickey James was her and Trish was the only decent workers in the whole of the W women's division, kind of. And now she's just one of, a couple really solid workers, and you can sort of see that because she just works a lot, but she doesn't quite stand out. But we'll just have to see what she does here because she is still Alexis Lurie, Mickey James, whatever we call her, so she'll be around for a while. Lizzie Dumas, former Lita, sort of, you can see well, she was never as over as Trish was in real life and in this universe. And I've given some jobbing to her as she's not that quite good. And she's a little, she's not quite as part of the top tier of women. It's not even, I think she just never, quite broke out that way. And, just sort of that's where she is. And then, of course, she joined WCW. She did on Triple H with Kid Cash. And that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, she has Captivation, so she'll be a solid heel for a while now. But we'll just have to see what happens with her, Nikki Radcliffe, of course, the other part of the women's division. Nikki rocks in real life. Solid year, women's tag champion. Good worker like everybody else coming out of our dev fed, and she's getting there as far as overness. I'll come to Raven Reign in a minute. Christina Busick, of course, the other part of European Disunion. Will never quite get the super push that Nikki will get, but I mean, look at her skills. She's insanely good in ring. Psych-wise, I mean, even this part is really good. I probably have to sort of rethink her character. Because she's not quite the quiet bruiser. But I don't know. I know nothing about her in real life. Basically, I'm just going off her look, her name, and her background, and just sort of build her character off of that. But her skills, I mean, she's a perfectly she could be a very solid part of the roster more than she is now. But yeah, really over, And then we got to our odd important. So we got All Out Alex Alexander, who's, again, really good in ring, and just hasn't had sort of the time on the main roster to stand out yet. She's been teaming with Cartier, but she hasn't had fully the big storyline. But she could get there. She has the star quality, the charisma, to sort of get there eventually. Not the best gimmick, which I will probably have to rework. But yeah, it is what it is. Ellie Danger, aka Allison Danger, aka Allison Carino. She actually has a fun gimmick with the Danger gimmick. And she's, again, really solid, all green stuff outside of hardcore and Pursu. But yeah, good microphone skills, decent charisma, been teaming with Gail Kim. And I have an idea for a new year. But outside of that, she's sort of part of the undercard of the women's division. Desiree Dawkins, former Desire, I think, in TNA. Came in, as sort of the mystery partner of the babyface woman, turned on them immediately, and then became a heel, became part of Captivation, and we'll just have to see what she does. You know, again, good in-ring stats because she's been in our dev territory and is getting there otherwise. Lila Vedez, aka Lacey, you know, again, not terrible stats, but nothing, you know, actually good charisma. I just need to figure out a better character for her because she's just sort of here at the moment. Team up with Roni Jana, who's also somebody else who's just sort of here at the moment. Nanny Neidhart has been here a while, you know, was sort of the Hart Legacy's unofficial manager, then became a worker, but like she sort of like has one of the same problems as Trisha and Joni Chilwell, that she was never part of our like dev territory. She never got really the time. So even though in real life, again, she was 20-year-old Nanny Neidhart was probably one of the better women in North America at the time. She's not that in that universe, so she'll have to work a little harder to be something, or maybe eventually, you know, go over to the Fed. Who knows? ODB came in. She's somebody who I probably brought up too soon, but I had a storyline reason for her. So she's somebody who might end up going back to our dev territory eventually after the ending of this sort of storyline, or I might just keep her around. We'll just have to see what happens with that as far as that goes. And that's it as far as like the women's division who are actually wrestling. So now let's go to our non-wrestlers. First, our managers, either gender. Okay, so Amy Weber. Let's talk to you real quick. There we go. Always forget I can do that. So there we go. Okay. We got April Hunter, who's of course Billy Kidman manager. She's perfectly solid. Like she's really over just because she's been Kidman's eye candy, you know, and probably does some like fun little gimmick stuff. She's good. She actually has decent charisma. Not great microphone skills, but you know she's solid. You know, and you know she works well as Billy's manager, so she'll probably be around for a while. Cookie, aka Becky Bayless, is a fun TNA character that I brought in from real life. Good sex appeal, good star quality. Not terrible in ring if she ever has to do that, but you know, decent charisma, decent microphone, but her gimmick is good, so we'll just have to see how that goes for her. Paul Heyman, of course, his client, Rob Van Dam. I mean, it's Paul Heyman. What do you expect? Randy Savage, you know, also a color commentator for us. But yeah, I mean, it's Randy Savage. You know, he retired a while ago. He came back in as a color commentator. You know, he's not in Tampa, so he's not involved in a car wreck. But yeah, he's currently Don Fry's manager. Let's see if that continues in the new year. But yeah, just sort of interesting stuff. Ric Flair, again, not he's still a wrestler, but I'm only having him be a manager for now. Like, if you look at his match history, his last match was that match for the tag titles. Like, that's probably not going to be his actual last match, but it is what it is. You know, I mean, it's Ric Flair. You know, charisma, microphone, acting, star quality. What do you expect? It's Ric Flair. Charmel, you know, she's here because Booker T's here, honestly. And then Stacey Keibler, of course, who is really over as the manager of Dean KO. She actually has decent charisma, not great microphone, but just good charisma, good star quality. You know, I mean, again, Stacey Keibler. Again, people can overdo the sex appeal on women, but you know, Trish Stratus and Stacey Keibler beat them hundreds on sex appeal. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, good gimmick for Seductress, even though I might rename that, you know, but it is what it is as far as that goes. Then we have our on-screen personalities, starting with Amy Weber, who's our Revolution sort of backscreen reporter, but she's been in a couple little mini angles, so I threw that on. Also, she has good charisma, good microphone, and decent sex appeal. So there's something to think about, like actually putting her in an angle. I just have to figure out a better angle for her. Eric Bischoff, you know, Nitro GM, it's Eric Bischoff. Roddy Piper, you know, my user character, the unofficial WCW president, but I only have him show up on TV like maybe once or twice a year. You know, but he's still like Roddy Piper, so he has good skills. And Teddy Long, our Revolution GM. So, then there's our announcers. We got Jeremy Barash, who is an announcer on Saturday night, or at least was before it went off the air. And announcing wise, he's okay, but so he'll probably never become an announcer guy. He'll either become a full-time backstage guy, or he'll slowly just go away. Jonathan Figueroa, who's a regen, but who's a regen with good stats. You I figure in real life, if WWE can find random people and bring him on, who nobody's heard of, we can bring in guys like this. He's good managed, and he'll be part of the roster. Mike Tenay's still perfectly solid as an announcer. And then Scott Hudson, who's actually not that great, who might be moving on as far as like announcing goes. And then Tony Schiavone, who's still pretty solid. That's sort of like the announcing team. Then for color commentary, got Dusty, who I think doesn't even, I think just works as a road agent by now. He's even that good a color guy. Jerry Lawler, who's, came in and has been here for a while. Mike Sanders, a former wrestler who I saw really had a good, who had good chemistry, weirdly, so I just put him on Saturday night, and is now, not actually a great, color commentator, but, I figure something goofy like this can happen. And Randy Savage, of course. Refs. So we got Billy Silverman, who's our ref on Nitro, Charles Robinson, who's the top ref on Nitro, Mark Johnson, who's a ref on Nitro, Mickey J, who's a ref on Revolution, Mike Posey, who's a ref on Revolution, and Nick Patrick, who's a head ref on Revolution. And no, I did not set that up by names, just how it worked out. And then there's our official road agent team. There's guys like Eddie, Flair, I think Steamboat. Well, no, Steamboat's down on our dev territory. But I'm sure there's somebody else I'm completely blanking on. Anyway, there are other people who I use who have good psychology coverage, but this is sort of the official team for each TV show. So Arn is the head Nitro team. Dusty's the head Revolution road agent. Johnny Ace is the women's basically Revolution guy, and Terry Taylor is sort of our cruiser undercard, road agent. Then I think that's it. Let's see, is there anybody with no role? No, okay. So yeah, there's our main roster. And now, last but not least, for this insanely long video is our dev territory. So, oh wait, just want to do one thing with that. So at the moment, our dev roster is kind of small just because I haven't had time to replenish things. And so, I'll probably sign new people as it goes. It'll just might take a little bit because honestly, again, I want to, in real life, obviously WWE had first shot at everybody. So I want to not steal people, but I also want to just people leaving in the wind. So there is somebody specific I'm going to bring in the new year. I just wanted to wait till the new year to change their, basically their current, not background, but where they want to wrestle. And another couple guys, I'm just seeing what they do as part of the real world. But I'll go into that in the second part of the video, which is about the rest of the world. But anyway, for roster, we got Austin Creed, who's 19. Only reason I sort of felt okay about wrestling this way is basically he's from basically just not that far down the road in South Carolina. So him coming down to Georgia to work, he's got a long way to go. But it's Austin Creed, so he'll be there eventually. Brett Major, the future, oh god, I forget his real life. God, I'm blanking now. No, what's your other name? God. Anyway, he's okay. He has some star quality. Jamie Tucker, who's our downstairs ref, Ken Suzuki, who actually has gotten okay in a ring down here, a lot better than he probably is in real life. Decent star quality. Kurt Stallings, who's a regen, who's a good brawler, and really that's about it. Good menace. Matt Morgan, who's Matt Morgan, Riley Durday, who's another regen, who I just signed because he at least had some skills, but we'll see if he does anything. Ray Gordy, who was injured forever. Literally, okay, so this is what happened to Ray Gordy, okay? He was going to get, okay, so yeah, he came up in, right, okay. So he came up as part of the original Chosen Few back in March of 2004. He had some matches, he was wrestling, and he got injured. He was out in May. He came back a year later, and basically I brought him down. I put him down in dev territory because I had a plan for him in a year, and I was just going to bring him back. And he got injured again in June. So then he was out until basically this year, and I have a whole new plan for him. So yeah, Ricky Steamboat is down here basically running the dev territory unofficially. Ryan Drago is a guy who had a good chemistry note with somebody, so I just brought him down here. He might do something, he might not. Terry Gordy is down here just until the end of his contract, because, I don't want to fire him and piss off Ray Gordy. And Tony Jones is a guy who I signed because he has good skills, but I don't know if he'll ever be anything. Like these guys, the only like sort of sure shots who will eventually be on the main roster is Ray Gordy, of course, probably Matt Morgan, probably Kenzo, and then these two. The rest are remain to be seen. Then we got our women. So we got Amazing Kong, who's Amazing Kong. She's somebody who's been on our dev territory for a bit, but she still has some room to grow, so we'll see what she does as far as that go. Annette Blanchard is a regen. She's good charisma and good microphone, so we'll deal with that. Ariel, the only problem for Ariel is she's like really good in the ring, but she has like no charisma, no mic, no star quality, so she's somebody who might like be stuck in our dev territory for forever. Carla's another regen who has just great star quality. Ima Sakura, of course, in real life is on AEW, but here, like, she's really good in ring, but I just never have anything to do with her. That's okay. Slight spoiler, I signed Cherry from the WWE. She's decent in ring, but I decided what to do with her. Madison Eagles has been down here for a while. Hasn't really become a great worker, unfortunately. Madison Sinclair, same thing, been here a while. Hasn't really grown the same way as the other women have. Maria Osaka is sort of like our unofficial trainer down here. The fact she has a championship probably says something. Michelle McCool has actually been slowly growing, but is still like sort of has a lot more room to grow. She has good charisma, good acting, good star quality. Honestly, if she continues to not really grow in ring, I might bring her up just as a manager. Miss Molly actually has gone pretty decently, including psychology, so she's somebody who might bring up, obviously rework the character, but she's somebody who might have a chance on the main roster. Misty is somebody who I sent down here and then sort of forgot about, like, because I don't, like, okay, so, a little talk. She was originally Kidman's manager, but then when I brought the game over to TEW 2020, she had terrible chemistry with Kidman, so basically I sent her off to the dead zone that was my dev territory, and I'm guessing she's been, like, sort of, like, the unofficial, like, host of the show, but, like, yeah, there's not much for me to do with her, so I might let her go. I might bring her up as another character. I don't know. Portia Perez is just 18, so she's getting started, so she has a while to go. And Tracy Taylor is somebody who actually might get good enough. I'll feel comfortable bringing her up. But, like, yeah, these women have a lot more to get farther to go than the other women did. Like, and then the women I feel comfortable with, like bringing up, are either fairly new or have other brown strides. So that's another. I might bring up some more women just to sort of build them up. But yeah, that's a 2-hour deep dive into the company. And then on Friday, I'll have the second half, which is going to do the rest of the wrestling world. Again, if you somehow gotten this far, remember I have the sort of like, have the little questionnaire link below. I have this, what's the word I'm looking for here? This game, I have a complete brain fart here. I have sort of like this game, this game save as a link below, along with some additional graphics that I, have as part of the game. But yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this insane deep look into everything, go ahead and give it a like, comment below what you're interested in, and subscribe to the channel for at least this one more deep dive into the rest of the wrestling world, and then the beginning of 2006 in WCW with the 2006 draft and lots of fun. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios.